On today's episode is my good friend Justin Blanton. He is just he's a great fool. We had a great time talking about just the normal stuff we talk about on this podcast, whether it be entertainment or some of the stuff that pisses us off. But I really had a lot of fun. Carl was back working behind the scenes. You'll hear him from time to time, but he doesn't want his own mic because he's a little shy. But we had a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy.
What?
Yeah, dead in my mouth.
I don't know why you're pointing at me. I didn't raise my hand.
I know your name's Gabe. Shut up.
Sure. Green, the screen ain't green. It also ain't clean. Like a green screen. But I'm clean.
You terrible rapper.
That's it. That's the intro. Fuck off.
You seem weird sitting next to your microphone.
I should sit in front of it
Yeah.
and put the headphones on to my head.
Yeah. It's just normally how we do it. I don't know. Not for you.
I don't like it.
I like on some people's podcasts, you'll hear them and they'll be like, hey, man, put the headphones on. They're like, oh, I don't really like the headphones. But eventually, they always put them on.
Always.
It just makes it easier.
It does. I hear you a lot better with the headphones. But I also don't want to hear you because you are full of shit.
You know me so well.
I'm going to rub this Buddha again because that started off the last one.
Yeah.
I'm on the lost files of Gathering of Fools.
Yeah, God, I can't believe we lost that episode. It's so good.
Yeah.
I have yet to I saved it, and I have yet to try to open it up in the new program to see if I can somehow magically fix it in the new program.
Yeah. Maybe one day you can just conjure it up.
Man, wouldn't it be great if I just loaded it into that program and it was like, okay, we're good.
Like, this is how this works. And just had it all.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Because, man, I there's been some good episodes, but I think that might be actually the best episode.
Yeah.
And nobody's probably ever going to hear it.
I know. I told so many good jokes.
Oh, man. That's what, like... Morgan, Thad's girl, and sometimes a producer on this podcast, that was one of the first things she said. That guy next to Thad was really funny.
I know. I'm gonna not be funny at all this time around. It's gonna suck.
I'd prefer it if you weren't that funny so that I could shine.
Oh, nah. Time to cast a big shadow.
Oh man, we're recording, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Carl.
Yes, Carl.
Who the fuck is Carl? Just kidding. Hey,
Right.
Carl. Shout out, Carl.
Shout out, Carl. All right, well, this is the Gathering of Fools, and we got Justin Blanton in the studio.
One of the biggest fools.
One of the biggest fools.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a fool ever since I known him.
Yeah. Yeah, I might be able to try something different.
I knew Justin was going to be one of my very best friends when I first moved home from the military, and a couple of us, I actually went with my family, but a couple of us went up to visit the younger fools at soccer camp at Bethany, and I decided to stay with everybody, and my mom left, and we were riding home with our buddy Alan, and when I got up to the car, because they all beat me to it, the front seat was open, and I was like, oh man, you guys left the front seat open? I just met you guys. And they're like, Justin said that you had to have the front seat.
I was like, Dave sits up front. What of it?
Yeah. I was like, and this is my best friend.
Like, ooh, the back is nice. The Jamaican bobsled team. The back is nice.
The back is nice. Sanka, you dead?
Yeah, man.
I like to start out sometimes by having people go through maybe like their top 5 movies, just to, let people relate to you a little bit.
Okay.
So do you want to start with 5 or do you want to start with 1?
We could probably start with number 5. And I don't know what it is.
I did not warn him about this beforehand.
It's true. Let's start with number 1, D2 The Mighty Ducks.
I don't know why I didn't know that to start. I knew that I had to know that was going to be it.
That's my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. Is it just because you're an Emilio Estevez fan?
Well, I mean, that has something to do with it.
Who's actually a Sheen?
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
He kept their name. He kept the family name. Estevez.
Yeah. I actually do love that movie. I might like the first one more, but it is a great movie.
Yeah. I mean, I love the first one too. It was more of like a timing thing for me. I was at a
You were,
more impressionable age when the second one came out. It
Yeah.
was just, I don't know, it spoke to me more. It was on the world stage.
He was on the world stage.
The world stage.
Did
Not just in District 5 or wherever those little shits were from.
was it you that was telling me that they're gonna do a show on Disney for Mighty Ducks?
I heard that. I don't think I was telling you about it,
Oh,
but I
okay.
did hear that, and that's going to be great. And
Yeah, I
I hope
haven't
they
really-
bring back some of the original cast, even though
Probably, yeah.
probably not.
Just pretend they're still young.
Yeah. Cake eater.
Why are all these adults playing hockey with little kids?
It's knuckle puck time.
I really hope that is true. I really do want to see it, but I haven't really seen much on it. Here we go. Mighty Duck TV series in the works exclusive. So I wonder.
It looks like all the same people.
Yeah, it definitely does. Even some of the ones that weren't in the second.
It's the whole cast of the first
Coming to
movie.
the small screen, ABC Signature Studios, early development.
A network is not yet attached, it said. It's
Oh,
got to
okay.
be Disney Plus.
Yeah,
Right.
or just at least one of the Disney things. But you would imagine
Yeah.
it'd go on Disney Plus.
Older article too,
It's
Oh,
on-
when's it from?
like last year.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
no, so this is pointless.
Yeah, so it might not even be a real thing. You should try looking it up on IMDb, Carl. See if it's on there.
Yeah. There's the Disney Wiki.
Disney Wiki
Here's Disney Plus.
This is from
details
November
emerge
6th,
for
so this is-
upcoming. Yeah, this is a lot more recent. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is going to be on Disney Plus.
That's got to be right.
Yeah.
That's where everything is these days.
Well, yeah. And
I mean, not everything, but
and you have to.
that's where all
You
the
have
other
to keep
movies
putting
are.
stuff on it. You know what I mean? Like I was shocked that they really only had one TV series to start out with original.
Yeah.
I mean, they have like the almost like docu ones,
They
like
have
the
the
one with
other
Jeff
ones.
Goldblum and Kristen Bell.
Yeah, Kristen Bell.
But
I
not
never
like
watched that one, but I think it would be pretty cool to see the old thespians going back and doing their plays over again. That's what,
true.
If
Yeah,
you know
I
what it is, right?
Yeah, I did. I forgot that that's what it was. I should watch that actually.
It's
And plus,
like-
I love Kristen Bell.
Yeah, it's like older, like the people that were in the plays in high school. They get to go back and do them again as adults, and it seems pretty cool because a lot of those drum kids, they were pretty cool in school. They got a bad rap, but I liked the most of them.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool as hell. Actually, since the last time we weren't able to, it didn't pick up all the microphones. Carl was working the station. So, Carl, are both of our sound waves being made?
Yeah,
Like
let's
if I
check
talk-
this now.
Yeah, me? Good?
How about me, Carl?
All right, good.
Hey, folks, we're live.
We're good to go. I just thought about it. You know what? I better make sure.
Yeah, I think the Disney Plus thing, I think they did it that way just because they know how to rake in the cash because they had the Mandalorian lined up and they knew it was going to, it was coming to an end, wrapping up, I guess you would say, when the movie was about to drop. So
Right.
they were having all Star Wars in your mind. Endgame
That's
had
true.
just dropped. Marvel was kind of,
Yeah.
what's Marvel doing?
And you know what? That is true. Don't even be excited about anything else but Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all they're trying to fill
No.
your brain with.
You're so smart.
I'm sure. I'm a fool.
All right. So, number 2 movie.
Oh, I don't know. I do love Boondock Saints. I'd probably go with that.
Yeah, the first one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because that second one is terrible.
I wanted to like it.
Yeah, I wanted to like it so
I
bad.
wanted it to be good.
Why did they make it a joke?
It was very strange what they did to the second one. I don't know. They took a lot of liberties I'm not too fond of.
No.
I actually only saw it one time, I think, in the theaters, and I was like, well, that was a horrendous piece of shit. So,
Yeah, sadly, I bought it right away,
uh,
and then I gave it away
well, good choice.
because it was terrible.
Yeah.
The first one is amazing, though.
Oh, yeah.
The first one's definitely. I don't know if I'd put it in my top 5, which I didn't when I said it on here, but it seems to be ever changing. But it definitely would be in at least my top 50 at the
It's
most,
just-
maybe
yeah.
even lower.
When I first saw it, I think I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school, and I'd never seen anything like it. Just
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
Beautiful
and,
scenery.
and their heroes. And William Dafoe, even though he's a little weird in it, he is so awesome in it.
Oh, yeah.
I love the scene. And there was a firefight.
Oh, my God. And like the opera's playing. He's just like, in that first scene he's even in when he's like dancing down that alleyway and just basically solves a crime right
Yeah.
then and there, like some sort of savant.
He's like, "Is that your theory?" He got hit by a really big guy.
Like a huge freaking guy. He makes him get him a bagel.
Oh, that is a good one. All right, you got what else you got?
Oh, shit. Let's Let's see. After the Boondock Saints, a movie I love. I would have to say the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie is one of my favorite movies as well.
That's a solid choice. That one caught me by surprise.
Yeah, it was kind of like I wasn't ready for it. I didn't really know too much about those characters at all or that comic at all.
Same.
And then everything about it was just amazing. The story, the humor in it, the music.
The soundtrack's unreal.
Oh, yeah. I have both it and the second movie soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh,
and
nice.
they are beautiful.
Well played, sir.
But, yeah, it just, I don't know, it just made you feel like a kid again when I was watching that movie. I was, like, laughing, and everything was great.
Yeah, it caught me by surprise. Besides the last movies that were obviously so epic in the MCU, both Guardians of the Galaxies and Thor Ragnarok were probably my favorite.
Oh yeah, Thor Ragnarok was awesome too. They completely flipped the script on Thor, and I think they saved his character.
Saved his character for sure.
I mean, his character was always going to be in it, but the first two movies, I liked them. I liked all the Marvel movies, but
they were okay. I went back and watched them.
They weren't good.
I went back and watched them recently, and they weren't as bad as I originally thought they were, but they still were nowhere near the par of the rest of them. The rest of any of the MCU movies, not just the Thor character later on.
But yeah, after Ragnarok came out, it was definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But then the two, Infinity War and Endgame came out, and it's just
crazy.
Crazy movies. And I love Black Panther.
Carl's never seen any of them.
Well, it sucks to suck, but
yeah, Carl just wants to look at his science magazines.
Some people just don't know good. I mean, there's a lot of science. I talk about scientific stuff all the time.
Yeah, all kinds of science.
Different portals being opened.
Yeah, it's got space. You love space, Carl.
Yeah. That scene in Endgame when all those portals opened.
Oh.
Dude, I was jumping up and down in my room.
I was in the theater the first time I saw it, and I couldn't jump up and down, so like my eyes were watering out of joy.
I know it took me a long time to watch Endgame. I just watched it maybe a month ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took me a long time. I didn't want to accept it coming to an end, so to speak. For people that don't know, some shit happens. And some of your favorite characters will not be in the universe going forward.
It's coming, but they are bringing back more MCU movies. I mean, it's just going to be a different sector. And
Scarlet Witch, or no, the other one, Black Widow's the first one dropping.
Yeah. And then Kumail Nanjiani is going to be in the Eternals. And
Yeah.
Got ripped.
How ripped is he? What did he do?
So crazy.
So crazy. Yeah, I don't even know what to say because he was just, some guy, funny dude.
Funny dude. And now look at him. It's
He's
unreal, man.
Shredded. What did he do?
Look at all those veins. Well, I didn't even know there were that many veins in your arm.
There aren't in mine. I don't know. That's that good Hollywood HGH.
Yeah. Well, one thing he did say, he didn't admit to taking anything, but one thing I liked that he said that he has the ability to get these special trainers, get dietitians, and all these things. So he said, don't anybody look at that side by side, go up a little bit. He said, so nobody get upset. Yeah.
He had.
Look at that. That is insane.
Just sloped shoulders, no definition at all. Like he never even lifted the remote control. And now he looks like.
Still what?
Still got the same chest.
Yeah, same chest hair.
Same chest
he
hair.
grew some more though.
Yeah, it looks like, and he definitely oiled it in the ripped picture.
Yeah, he's oiled up.
He a little shiny.
He's nice and airbrushed.
You're bling bling. But yeah, still, even though he was in Silicon Valley, but still, one of my favorite shows he was on was definitely Franklin and Bash.
I know. I was thinking about that show yesterday,
good.
and that was a great show. It didn't last. It was just cut too short, cut down in its prime.
The only place to get it now too is Crackle.
Really?
But
That's
it has
the only
ads,
thing it's on?
so it's annoying as hell.
It's not on anything else but Crackle.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's free, but
you could probably pay for it on Amazon.
Yeah. A lot of things are on Amazon you can pay for.
Yeah, but I like free stuff, but not on Crackle because there's too many ads.
Yeah, is it all? I haven't watched. There was like one thing I tried to watch on Crackle and I just stopped.
Yeah.
It was like an original Crackle show. I forget what it was.
Yeah, they got a bunch of original stuff on there.
I feel like that's all they can put on is like original content so it's free. So
well, they got Franklin and Bash and shit on there.
That's
so
true.
I don't know. So what were we? What was that? 3?
That was 3. Number 4, my 4th favorite movie of my entire life. I don't know.
It's a good thing I gave you a lot of time to think about it, right?
Yeah, we had a good sidetrack. I haven't been thinking about it, so I've been talking about everything with you, not sitting over here thinking. I'm just gonna. The only thing that's popping into my mind right now is A League of Their Own, and
Which is a fantastic pick.
it is, and it's one of the first movies I remember seeing in a theater as like a younger being, and I was in Illinois, and
You were in Illinois.
Yeah, my mom's family's from Illinois.
Oh, that's right.
So we were visiting family, and my grandpa was still alive. So I remember going with my grandpa.
That's a
like,
good memory.
when it was still in theaters, and it was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was one of my first memories, really.
And one of my favorite Tom Hanks roles.
Oh, a great movie for sure.
Probably my favorite Gina Davis role.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
I can't name too many other Gina Davis roles, to be honest. But
For anybody who hasn't seen that, during what was that, World War II? World War II, when the draft happened, a lot of baseball players ended up going, and they started a women's baseball league to kind of fill the void. And this is a movie about that, and it is awesome.
Yeah, 1943, I think it says, when they were they flash back to, and that's when the story started, was 43. So, right in the smack dab of the middle of WW2.
Yeah, but it's phenomenal. It's got comedy, it's got baseball, it's American.
It's great, and Tom Hanks as Jimmy Dugan is just amazing.
Yeah, there's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, avoid the clap.
Avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan.
Oh man.
All right, so that's 4. You got one
That's
more.
4. I would have to say it's definitely one of the Batmans. It would either be the Dark Knight or the original Batman movie.
Like the original with Michael Keaton?
Michael
or
Keaton and Jack Nicklaus, yeah.
Nice.
It would either be the Dark Knight or that one. It's kind of hard to decide.
Yeah, I think that's a tough pool.
I don't think I saw that one in the theaters. Another movie one of my first memories of going to a movie theater was seeing, I think, Batman Returns in the movie theater. I was pretty young.
Oh, really?
Yes, but I would say probably the Dark Knight. It's fresher in my mind, and the performance by Heath Ledger, obviously, as the Joker. It's just
unbelievable. Jack Nicholson was also unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, unbelievable in just about every role he's played. But
yeah,
Heath Ledger, and just this whole story behind it and how it just basically, I mean, it drove him mad.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Drove him mad for sure. I was worried about it from the get-go. Somebody said they weren't sure Heath Ledger would be good at that role, and I was like, I knew from the get, because I'd seen so many different. One movie I always reference with him that shows his acting chops is Four Feathers, which a lot of people haven't seen.
Right. How about The Patriot?
Yeah, well, The Patriot was good, but he wasn't like the main.
But I always think about him when I think about that movie.
Yeah. Have you ever seen this?
Four Feathers? No.
Yeah. I bought it on Amazon, so you can check it out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Interesting.
The story of it is, so Wes Bentley is in it too, and they're all part of like a military school, but it's more like an academy, I guess, and they're actually in the military, and when they get orders to ship out, he bails.
Okay.
So if somebody gave you a white feather, it was a sign saying that you're a coward. So his buddies that he was in there with all gave him white feathers when they left. So he ends up with a ton of remorse, and things go bad for his people over there. So he ends up going to, I think it's the Sudan, maybe, I'm not sure, but somewhere in the desert in Africa, and he ends up here we go. As a symbol of cowardice, the white feather supposedly comes from cockfighting, in the belief that a cockerel sporting a white feather in its tail is likely to be a poor fighter. So they gave him the white feather. He ends up going over and finding each one of them, because they all got separated. Some got put into different prisons and stuff.
Yeah.
And he finds each one of them and gives them their feather back and basically saves them.
Saves their lives.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty awesome. Got to check it out.
Never heard of it.
So good.
I'll watch it. That
All
sounds
right.
great. I think that was 5.
Yep.
Don't ask me anymore.
That was 5. You did great.
I don't want to tell you any more about my movies.
We're actually recording this on the night that LSU played Oklahoma, so we kind of have to talk about what's Joe Burrow's?
Yeah, Joe Burrow, I believe. Yeah, Burrow. Just singular Burrow.
Burrow. Man, in the first half, 403 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah. Just
what
wild.
The hell?
They could have put up 100. Oklahoma, where is the defense? What happened? They don't play any defense in that conference. And if you look at Oklahoma's games this season, they're all like 64 to 58 wins. So
yeah, well,
it's just wild.
He also threw. He was 21 for 27 That's
400
crazy.
yards. And 4 of the touchdowns were the same dude.
Really?
He had first 4 catches, I think. He kept counting them all. He was like, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, hey, congratulations, Bengals.
Yeah. Tigers. Just Tigers. Just regular Tigers.
No. But I mean, the Bengals are going to have the first round
Cincinnati
pick.
Bengals. It's like, they're not the LSU Bengals, Dave. Dum-dum.
No, they're going to get the first pick. I imagine that's probably who they're going to end up taking.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't. Chase Young, if you want something on defense.
Right.
But Cincinnati, I think they need a QB these days anyway. I don't think they're too happy with their sitch.
Yeah, but they screwed up starting benching Andy Dalton. They should have kept Andy Dalton.
He had plenty of serviceable years. He just all his receivers were hurt this year. I mean,
Well,
AJ
when he
Green didn't even come out and play. He might not even be a Bengal going forward. John Ross played a couple weeks.
Well, in the game they brought Andy Dalton back in, he blew up and they won their only game.
Yeah. How about that?
Because he's a starting NFL quarterback. He's not a superstar, but he's a starting NFL quarterback.
Yeah. And he's been starting he has experience, He's been in the league for 5+ years now. 5 years, I think. Can't quite remember.
And some really good ones.
Right. Yeah, you had decent seasons. He's taking them to the playoffs. Never passed the first round.
Right.
Never won a playoff game, but
that's
they went.
I saw Joe Burrow's stats because somebody posted him on Facebook. And I said, man, they just need to sit him down before he gets injured.
They may have.
And the guy replied, too late, his arm's already on fire.
So true. It was just like a revolving door. And then Oklahoma had a good drive, scored a touchdown, pulled one back, and then he hit somebody on a deep pass. Actually, it was Randy Moss's son.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he hit him on a deep one, fucking 65-yard touchdown pass. And it was just right back. Like, okay, you scored one. Let us hang 49 in the first half.
Yeah, I didn't know so was played there. Yeah, they only scored 14 points in the second half, and it ended up being 28-63. So there you go.
Yeah. So
good job, Oklahoma.
They're
scoring
on to
one touchdown.
They're on to the ship. So who's it going to be? OSU or Clemson?
I have to imagine OSU.
I would think so. They got the better team, then their defense is great. But and, I mean, it's hard to say. I think that's a better matchup than this was, obviously.
Yeah.
10-zip right now into the first quarter. So
yep. So there you go.
All going to plan. I think that's the game college football wants. Joe Burrow played 2 years. He was on OSU's bench as a backup quarterback.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. Yeah, they definitely want that.
Yeah, that's the matchup they want.
That's
they want
a storyline.
Yeah, if Heisman winner coming back to his old team, and he probably put a hurting on him. Yeah. But maybe not, because Ohio State has a defense when Oklahoma does not.
Nobody wants to see that serial killer quarterback from Clemson.
No, dude.
He looks like a serial killer.
He is sketchy. Have you ever seen that Instagram of that girl that looks exactly like him? And she does all his poses.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny. She makes the same faces as him and shows side by sides, and she looks just like, she puts a thick headband on like he has under his helmet to hold his hair back. Identical twins they have to be.
he literally makes me think of the guy that plays the killer, at least in that role in Taking Lives with Angelina Jolie.
Oh yeah.
That's all he makes me think of.
What a movie that was. But no, Joe Burrow used to play for Ohio State, and 2 other quarterbacks were transfers. Ohio State's quarterback played for Georgia, I think it was, and obviously what's his name for Oklahoma played for Alabama for 2 years and won a national championship there.
Yeah.
And then transferred away because they replaced him with Tua. Tua won the job, and then he went.
Yeah.
Said, I'm gonna go play for Oklahoma, make the playoffs, and you ain't.
Man, how crazy is it that at the beginning of the college season, it was all about the race to see who got Tua.
Yeah.
Who got the worst record to win the Tua lottery.
Yeah.
And now it's all about Joe.
Right. Yeah, because Tua got a pretty substantial injury. That's what ended Bo Jackson's career, right? That display, that hip coming out of socket, all the way out of socket. That's got to be so painful.
Yeah.
A lot of people still have him going in the first round, top 10 pick. And
I bet you he does still.
I'm sure he does, but he can't even walk yet.
Yeah.
Like just walk.
Right. Yeah. That's insane. That's intense.
And the combine's in April. It's about to be January.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna draft him, and he's gonna be on the sidelines for how long? But then he gets NFL doctor treatment, and
NFL doctor treatment. He gets time to learn under an NFL quarterback. It may not be the worst thing in the world. The
No.
crazy thing about Bo Jackson is Bo Jackson's own power caused his dislocation.
Yeah, he was too powerful for his own body. That's the craziest shit there is.
Yeah. And supposedly never lifted weights a day in his life.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah. It's all like
Didn't need
push-ups and
Right. Well, I mean, people just get big from stuff like that. Like, what's his name? The UFC heavyweight Francis Ngannou.
yeah.
He was just in the sand mines.
Yeah.
Just digging sand in Africa.
And he's a scary man.
Oh, man. Once they tap into that athletic wealth in the country of Africa, it's just going to be over. They're all they're all like him. They're all his size.
Yeah.
That big, and he's light on his feet, quick as hell, fast hands.
Well, and actually, even a lot of the UFC, two of the UFC champions have African descent now.
Mm-hmm.
Israel and Usman.
Usman, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Just
It's
great base and just wrestling and just genetics, superior genetics. That's wild.
Yeah, the genetics are insane.
Have you seen the Senegalese wrestlers?
No.
In traditional African wrestling, it's pretty much the same as MMA. It's strikes and grappling.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no gloves or anything, and they wear like little thongs.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're just
my God,
monsters.
they're
Look
huge.
at these men, dude.
Jesus Christ. They're like ripped sumo wrestlers.
Yeah, just back right away from you, sir. No, you
Oh,
can
my
have
God.
take what you please.
Yeah, I think these are the scariest men on the planet.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just imagine if they got a few of those in the UFC in the
like-
heavyweight division.
It's like them or the Russians. They're the scariest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Russians are crazy. Maybe not the same size, but look
Right.
at that dude.
That
like
is
what?
insane.
That's all natural.
Yeah.
He's hulked up.
Yeah, he's not even ripped. He's just huge.
Just huge.
Imagine if once he starts doing weight cuts and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be ripped. He's strong as
Yeah.
probably one of the strongest men. But
That might be the biggest man I've ever seen.
we're doing a very visual episode right now.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
just imagine the biggest humans you.
So
could
look up
ever see.
what would you be looking up here?
Just Senegalese wrestlers.
Senegalese wrestlers. That's Senegalese. Check that out because it is insane.
If anyone taught them some technique, maybe some striking technique, because the videos on YouTube I've actually watched are kind of just like once they get a hold of each other, just like cracking each other till someone quits, basically.
Yeah, that's fucking bananas.
Or tell you somebody goes down, somebody gets on
Right.
top of them.
Did you speaking? We were talking about not even being able to walk. Did you hear about Zion Williamson?
Yeah, the Pelicans are trying to teach him how to walk and run different. Is that
Yeah,
what it
because
is?
apparently the way he does it is not good for him.
Yeah, I mean,
How do you walk so that it makes you more injury prone?
right. Well, yeah, I guess I can believe it because I mean, look at that. I mean, he's so big.
Right, but is that
He's
going to
so
change
big.
his whole game?
I don't know. He can still jump out of the gym, I'm sure.
That seems like that does. But to me, when I see that, it's like, okay, maybe you guys didn't win the lottery when you got him.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he might have peaked in high school.
Because has he even really played much this year?
He hasn't played a game.
That's fucking crazy.
They shut him down.
They are
early.
sick to their stomach.
Yeah, they got and they traded all that.
They
They
traded away
AD
Davis.
away to
Yeah.
basically get the pick.
Uh,
And yeah, it's pretty interesting. I haven't read too much into it about but I did see that they
I
want
just
to
saw
train
the
him how to walk and run differently, which is crazy to think. I mean, he's 19, so
so yeah.
still very young.
But you normally learn how to walk and run way earlier.
yeah,
than that.
like pretty much one of the first skills you obtain as a human is walking.
That's just bananas.
Yeah, and I mean that's medicine and science these days. It's crazy. They're like, we just need to trade him. He's too big. He can't run like that.
Yeah. We actually got to start him back from his infant days.
Like, what do we put? Like, what do you put him in? Do you put him in like braces? Like his hip, like your hip and your pelvis and all your center of gravity.
Right?
Like
How
all
do
in
you
your
change
core.
it? I don't understand.
Do they have to put him in some apparatus to
feel like-
shift his bones?
I feel like there's got to be a lot of pool work, right? Working a pool.
Yeah, swimming.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems crazy to me. It doesn't make any sense.
At first, I thought you just meant someone pulling on his legs.
Hold on. Go back up.
A lot of pool work. Let me just yank
spoke-
on both these legs to get him in the right area.
Zion Williams earlier. He's eager to play, but says he trusts the Pelicans' recovery plan. It's less about the knee and more about reprogramming his body. That just is not good when
can't
you
just talk
you
about-
can't reprogram your body once you're already in the NBA.
It's a wild thing to think about.
That's so crazy.
Reprogram like he's some sort of computer.
This is the medical team addressing an issue, not teaching him how to walk and run for step one. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Want to be clear, the Pelicans are not having Zion relearn how to walk. They are making changes mechanically to make sure he'll be better off long term. That's exactly. You're still teaching him how. Okay, you're not Okay, so he knows how to walk. So yes, he's not relearning how to walk, but you're trying to get him to do it completely different.
Yeah. Obviously, he knows how to walk and run.
Zion's rehab process involves gait modifications to affect his kinetic change so injuries are less likely to happen in the future. It's not mentioned in the article, but that's all thanks to biomechanics. Still seems like you're trying to teach him how to do things completely different.
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
Yeah. I feel like you can reword it any way you want, but you're trying to teach him how to walk and run different.
Yeah. He just like, basically the first tweet was like, they're trying to teach him how to walk and run different. And then he just spun it a bunch of different ways in the next 4 or 5 tweets.
Right.
They're like, I shouldn't have said that. They didn't want me to say that. I got to change this.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
There's no saving face.
I see you brought my paintings in. You and your girlfriend Corinne.
Shout out, Corinne.
Do some sick paintings. And
yes, thank you.
Man, these things are awesome. Where can people see your artwork at?
Mostly on Instagram.
Shout out your Instagram.
Yeah, it's at Justin Blanton, just my name and last name. Don't look too much into me though. And my girlfriend's is at Corinne, Krin, and maybe another N. I'm not sure. But yeah, she posts more than I do when we're doing our work. But there's a little bit of more content on her page, I would say. A little bit on mine. We have a lot of paintings in our just kind of in storage, so we're gonna be working on getting our an Instagram page just solely dedicated to the art.
I would do a Facebook one too.
Facebook too, yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask, if you guys were trying to get like a website or something, because you guys can definitely sell them without a doubt.
Yeah, we've had a few private buyers, few commissioned pieces. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you for supporting us. And you, David, thank you as well. And a lot of interesting thing we did for you. A lot of people, in maybe your college years or your younger adult life years, you bought some canvases at like a Walmart or some place you'd never even been to, or like some sunrise you didn't even watch and you don't want anymore.
Yeah. You're just like, why did I buy this?
So we paint you an actual meaningful piece on top of that has some feeling put into it. Yeah. And it's way cooler. So if you got anything like laying that around and you want something cooler put on them, holla at us. Get
a hold of it. I was going to say, for right now, they can just contact you guys on your Instagram
or
something like that.
Instagram would be the route for now. Keep a lookout for our own Instagram page just dedicated to the artwork. We will get that up and running eventually.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. And we'll have a picture of the artwork on the Instagram when we do the post for this episode.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that.
Check it out.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the plug.
I was at Valley Wine before here, and the lady that's bartending, she showed me this thing. It was all those different things that say this is how you get your like porn star name, this is how you get your whatever name.
Oh yeah, like the street you grew up on and your middle name or whatever.
Well, this one said, this is how you get your porn star name. You take your mother's first name and then your mother's second name because your mom's a whore.
Oh, damn.
I was like, what the hell?
Right? That's just wrong.
Oh, my God.
Like, you took just an innocent game. You made it about a mother.
It's so funny, though.
And that's messed up.
You just don't expect it.
Right? Who's ready for that?
Nobody.
Oh, man. That's hilarious.
Have you been reading?
Not as much as I would want to.
Man, usually you're the guy to go for.
I know, and it's just I blame the internet. I read so much stuff on there, and it's just like one thing I was thinking about for 2020. Since we're getting so close, and it's the 28th now, and it's coming on us pretty fast. A whole new decade. When I get bored, or if I'm doing something that I'm not super into, like maybe watching something on TV, and I'm like, well, this fucking sucks. I'm just gonna pick up a book instead of picking up my phone.
Yeah. I'm trying to get better at it.
And I have so many books laying around that I just need to read. And a lot I'd like to reread. Now that once you mature, I think you should go back and read some of your favorite books, and as you're in a different mindset, or maybe at the time you read them, and you might get something different out of them, or notice something you didn't notice before.
I think sometimes with certain books, like when they're nonfiction, you should maybe just read them twice if you have the time anyway, because you might absorb that information better. Like I just finished that book, Tribe, sitting over there, and I already want to reread it.
Nice. Yeah, well, but you got a great book when you got something like that. You already want to pick it up and reread it. Really holding out for The Winds of Winter by George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, good luck.
But, here we are. I saw some interesting news. This is how desperate people are for that book to come out. This is what happened. It wasn't that long ago, maybe a month. Somebody purchased the web domain windsofwinter.org, I think, just recently.
.org, not even .com.
No, I think it was .org, and it moved its IP address was updated, and it started putting out like a feed, not like any information on it, nothing like that, but it started putting out a signal basically. So you would think they're getting ready to use that for some sort of announcement if they're updating the IP.
But it's just weird that it's .org and not .com.
Yeah, maybe it's because so it can be more worldwide. I don't know.
Because still, most of the big websites are still just the .com.
Yeah, it's odd. Maybe I could be misspeaking. It could be .com.
Yeah,
I think it was
one good way to
.org.
Find out. Carl, look up windsofwinter.com. Yeah, just try the website, see if something's on there. But yeah, I don't know if that guy's ever going to finish the goddamn book.
It's crazy. I think he's just one of those people that just he's so talented and he's got so much in his brain that he's just written himself into oblivion. He has so much information.
Yeah.
That this is like the most weirdly put together website ever.
But it does have to do with that.
It does have to do with that. It looks like he was using some JavaScript. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that to come out. Hopefully it does eventually. He always seems to be working on something else that's really weird, and then he's like, I have 14,000 pages of manuscript, I just need to put it together. And I'm like, well, get it together, man.
If that's all you have to do, then put it together. You should.
It's just the books, the timeline that came out is crazy. The last one came out in 2011.
Yeah.
2011.
And he wrote a prequel book before he finished the series.
He wrote like a whole history.
Yeah.
Like to go back way before that story even started. They're making a spin-off show about his work. It's all about his work. This all comes from him. It's like not a lot of it. Like it's not canon. It's not other people tying into the universe. It's all from him.
Oh, wow.
Turn that off, Carl. But anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that come out. I really want to see how he puts his story together after we were dealt the hand we were dealt by the showrunners at HBO for season 8. Because I was a defender at first. I was like, it's good, it's amazing, it's got to end somehow, guys, come on. But now I've looked at it. I haven't ever rewatched it. I've watched every episode of Game of Thrones multiple times, even like season 5 where there were some shitty ones.
Right.
And I never even rewatched season 8 because I just fucking hate it.
I'm still a defender to an extent. I don't like how it officially wrapped up. I didn't hate the big battle scene at Winterfell like most people did.
No, I didn't hate that at all. People that hated that are stupid. It was sweet. It was a sight to behold. I just thought, just think of the story we got at the beginning, and the timeline they had it like covering. Like they spent like 4 episodes walking down a road.
Yeah.
Then in season 6 they're just like, they
definitely rushed it.
It was rushed is an understatement. I think it would have been better, and these aren't my original thoughts. I've seen this online and things talked about it all. But if they actually dedicated the time to it, they wanted to get done to work on other things. They were attached to Star Wars in some way, but they got canned, and it was kind of like Game of Thrones fans rejoiced because they were like, you rushed our shit and you got fired, so fuck you. But they're pretty hated.
I still put a lot of blame on the author, though.
Yeah, I mean,
you didn't finish the book. These guys who had nothing to do with your story had to improvise their last season,
right?
Because it didn't exist. You know what I mean? Yeah. And while they didn't wrap it up as good as I'd like, I think they did make some mistakes. I think it's still better than what a lot of people, especially the fans that complain, would come up with.
Yeah, what I would have liked to see is the Night King and the others, or the White Walkers, whatever you want to call them. They were built out the whole show. from episode 1. They were built up the whole show. So season 8 should have been a whole season just dealing with them. At Winterfell, dealing with them. They could have done the same storylines. Arya still could have killed the Night King. They could have had all the characters there. They could have done the Jaime and Brienne thing.
Could have been way more than one episode.
Towards the end, okay, they deal with that. Okay, then it's Cersei's turn. So season 9, we're dealing with Cersei.
Yeah.
So we're going south. We're doing all that. Winter has been eradicated, so to speak, because the White Walkers are done.
Right.
So they're dealing with that. And to get Cersei Lannister was one of the most amazing villains in television history.
Yes.
And to not get someone fucking taking her life is fucking bullshit. A fucking brick fell on her head and she died. Okay? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Someone should have ripped her fucking face off. So I thought they could have done at least all of season 9 could have been about that. If they wanted to consolidate and only make 9 seasons, they could have done half of season 9 dealing with her, and then the rest could be Daenerys' descent into madness and them having to deal off with her.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or season 10 could have been that.
And then they obviously made the mistakes like we got pulled up here right now, like the Starbucks coffee being
Yeah.
there.
That stuff happened. That one was a little more blatant. There's like a show if you remember I forget what season it was, but they do like a theater scene in Bravos. And there's a shot there when it's like a panned out from the stage. And if you look like all the way to the right way in the distance, you can see like cars going down the street because they were filming in like Majorca, Spain or something like that,
right.
Where like the town's still operating. They just had a portion of it shut down.
That's one thing I definitely said about that. That was obviously more egregious, but I said that I bet you can find things like that in every show, in every season. It's going to happen, unfortunately, because people aren't perfect.
Right.
They should be, but they're not. They're getting paid millions of dollars. But I guarantee that happens. But season 8, people already hated so much that they were just looking for every little thing to attack.
And that was blatantly obvious. Like, it was right there. Like, everyone, like, pretty much everyone was like, look out, cup.
I can't lie. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it.
I didn't
should
either.
have.
I didn't either, but it's blatantly there in that scene.
Yeah.
Everybody rewatched it hundreds of times.
It's like Daenerys was drinking. She might as well have been drinking the coffee during the scene.
Right. I'm surprised she didn't just have a sip. I would have. Might as well. Don't want to get that shit to get cold.
Yeah, and also I got to blame the actors just as much as I blame the directors and everybody else for
Right,
that
who
one.
just has it sitting out like oh,
none of you acting saw that sitting on the
Knock that
table.
over. I'd have slapped it off the table. Like, get that out of here.
Right,
I'm in costume. What if I spill coffee? But I don't know. I think the fact that they're coming up with more Game of Thrones shows is just a big amount of fan service because they're like, man, we fucked this shit up.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, the new show should be crazy. It's all about the Targaryen reign, and I'm pretty interested for everyone to see that because unless you've read like the history books that George R.R. Martin has come out with and like Fire and Blood and stuff like that, like there's a lot of crazy information about the Targaryens. And
Yeah, well, in the Targaryens, I mean, it's gonna be the coolest one. That's gonna involve a lot of dragons.
All
I would
the
hope.
dragons, yeah.
All the dragons.
yeah, because up until like maybe a few hundred years before the events of Game of Thrones, everybody had it. All the Targaryens had a dragon. All the royalty had a dragon.
Yeah.
They slowly began not being able to breed them because they started keeping them in captivity, things like that. It's very applicable to like if you think about like endangered species and things like that. Like they couldn't. They were towards the end. They were like feeble and dog sized. They couldn't breed a proper dragon anymore because they had been keeping them in captivity, and they thrive in the wild and where they can fly and whenever they want.
Keeping them captive, any animal like that, that's what's gonna happen.
Yes.
We got started on that because we were talking about books and whatnot. I did want to point out because you said you blame the internet for not reading as much.
Yes.
I think the internet can be blamed for a lot of things.
Yes.
And actually, my book that I was talking about, Tribe, has a little bit to do with that because it talks about tribes and communities. And one of the things it points out in there is that the internet and social media has affected communities. Because people, like back in the day, you knew all your neighbors.
Yeah.
And now you may not even talk to your neighbor.
Right.
Like,
if you needed like something like you didn't have in the house, you just go next door and be like, hey, can I have a cup of sugar?
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's the classic one. But
so it talks about that and like the effects it has with like war and all kinds of different things. It's a really cool book. I highly recommend it.
Interesting. So I was wondering, I didn't ask you what it was, but it's nonfiction. It's kind of like just applying somebody's views on the changes in society, basically, in communities.
Yeah, it's not even so much. Yeah, it is definitely the changes actually, and it talks about how since we don't fight wars here in the United States, that's part of the reason that PTSD is so bad, because like for Indians, their warriors never had really in history never really had a thing with PTSD, because that was part of their life, and they were in their community when they were fighting those wars. They didn't have the ability to travel so far away. So the warriors were automatically not just re-entered into their society, they were in that society the whole time.
And they were all like warring tribes. They were always at war. That was like you were a peaceful tribe. You lived in your wigwam, you grew crops, or you went to those people and you fucked them up. And
Right. And they said and it was weird how they did things. Like during times of war, the warriors ran the tribe. And then when war was done, then the more peaceful chiefs and stuff like that, they took back control of the tribe, and there was never even a battle to the warriors were never like, no, we're keeping this,
right?
You know what I mean?
They would always give it up to like the shaman or whoever it was,
whatever,
the religious leaders. And I would say that. Imagine
it's a really cool book. I definitely highly recommend it. That's one of the reasons I want to read it again, is because I want to be able to talk about it more fluently. You know what I mean? And because it blew my mind. There's a bunch of quotes in there that kill me too. Like one was something about if you were happier during war than you are at a time of peace, then what does that say about your society? And that's a crazy quote. And that was coming from somebody who lived in like a war-torn area, and they were like, "Man, I was more at peace when we were at war."
When we were at war. Yeah, pretty profound stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, and a lot of people. I mean, when you're in an area like that, especially when you're young, that's all you know. All you know is violence and war. And
well, and the United States has no feeling of that.
No, not since the Civil War.
Like we've had like things like 9/11, which is obviously terrible, but we've never fought a full-blown war on U.S. soil since things like the Civil War. You know, worst we had was when Pearl Harbor got attacked.
Pearl Harbor got attacked, and that was, the closest we've had till 9/11 of an actual outright attack on us.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah. It's really crazy to think about, because it happens constantly in other places. Now the biggest thing we have to worry about, which I do think needs addressed, I actually just saw a news article, 2019 saw a massive increase in mass killings, and most of them being with guns.
Yeah, and assault style guns I think is the biggest problem. The assault rifles.
Yeah.
When you can mod your gun and look up a video to mod it and make it fully automatic, and then the wrong person gets a hold of it.
Yeah, what's that headline say, Carl? U.S. saw highest number of mass killings on record in 2019. Database reveals. What's crazy to me, I'm pro-gun. I do want Americans to have their guns. That's one of the reasons we don't fight wars on American soil.
I agree. I think everyone has the right to protect themselves, and with a firearm, you can definitely do so.
And I don't think anybody should get their guns taken away, but I do think there has to be some way that we make it harder for certain people to get guns.
Yes, the background checks should be very difficult. But the day that they come for our guns is pretty much the day we can wrap it up as American citizens, because they've pretty much intruded on every.
Yeah, and I don't think that it'll ever come.
I don't think they will, because right now everyone's too afraid to piss off the NRA. So mass killings are happening, but the government doesn't want to piss off the NRA. But
there's got to be some better solution. Here's what kills me is in Ohio, you can't own a gun if you have a medical marijuana card, but you can if you're on any pharmaceutical.
Yeah. That's antipsychotics.
Yeah, and
anything.
And those legitimately affect the chemicals in your brain.
Look at the word antipsychotic.
Yeah.
What's it helping you from? Psychosis. Being a psychic. No, psycho.
Yeah. Well,
you can be a psychic all you want.
Right. And what kills me is they're literally, if they get those chemicals wrong, because they're trying to get you basically to not feel as much.
Yeah.
So if they hit you too hard with them, with too much of a dose, what is a person who has no feelings? A sociopath?
Yeah, sociopath.
So if they get
serial killer, step before serial killer.
So if they get the dosage wrong, essentially, and they give you too much, and it changes your chemicals too much, they're essentially making you a sociopath. You feel nothing anymore. You have no feeling. That seems dangerous.
That seems a little dangerous. Yeah.
But they can still have guns. But don't smoke a joint.
Right.
Don't smoke a joint,
especially if it's for your health.
Yeah, if you smoke a joint for your health, you can't have a gun.
Put that gun down. Take it back.
That's crazy.
It's an odd thing. I mean,
to me, it makes more sense if you say, "Hey, you can't buy Twinkies if you smoke weed."
That I don't think anyone will be able to stop them.
I'm just saying, it's more likely that you're going to eat too many Twinkies.
Right. Not go pop off and fucking cap at somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always going to be a double-edged sword in this country because we've had that right for so long. And
again, I don't think the right should be taken away.
No, I don't either. But it should be harder. I mean, you talk to anyone that's bought a gun, they say it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-minute background check.
Tommy Two Phones, he used to sell the guns at Walmart, and it's pretty much just like, okay, and there you go.
Yeah, there's jobs that'll give you a more stringent background check.
Yeah, right.
Than buying a gun.
For sure.
A lot of jobs.
It's harder to get a driver's license.
Yeah, at least then you have to take a test to make sure you know how to operate what you're doing. A gun, you can just buy it.
Right.
You're like, they're not like, you know how this works? You put the bullet in it, go bang. I mean, that's all you need to know.
Yeah. What does this say? The status quo is unacceptable. Walmart will stop selling some ammunition and exit the handgun market. Well, that's crazy.
Well, I don't think
handguns aren't really the problem.
Yeah, I don't.
El Paso.
After El Paso,
What happened in El Paso?
that was where the Walmart shooting was.
Yeah. There's so many. Every time, like, I have all these news apps on my phone now.
Yeah.
Just because I'm trying to have more information, and I get alerts all the time about shootings, just all the time.
Yeah, it's something to behold, especially in like Chicago.
Oh,
Look
God.
at, I mean, the gun violence there is ridiculous, crazy.
Well, I love what people say there. They say that Chicago has the strictest gun laws. Yeah,
It doesn't.
they did it too late.
Yeah,
They also did it too late.
If those people want a gun, they're gonna get a gun.
Right.
It's easy to get a gun.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And they always say, well, the gangsters are going to get guns no matter what. Well, the gangsters aren't the ones doing mass shootings.
Right. They're shooting each other, which is, I mean, horrendous in its own problem in its own right.
Definitely
But-
horrendous. But they're not the ones doing mass shootings.
and I mean, there's people that get caught in their crossfire and the innocent people that die. But
Correct.
it's not 24 people at Walmart just getting their Sunday groceries.
Right.
It's always going to be a battle. And I think I saw they signed some money into researching some more stringent gun laws, but I think that was a thing I saw, but I don't know what it's going to help. It's the automatic weaponry. It's the high capacity magazines. I think it's things like that are the big problem because
for sure.
you can't, like, people are outgunning the cops. That's why it's tough. And that's why we see our cops having to have these armored trucks and these, body armor and full SWAT gear, and they roll into these places.
Congressional deal could fund gun violence research for the first time since the 1990s. That seems like too long. But, I mean, people are trying to do something. I feel like some people are trying to figure it out. I just don't know. I feel like people are too quick to fight any stricter gun laws. It doesn't mean that nobody can have a gun anymore.
Yeah, it's a crazy cycle. And, like, you look at it, like you said, it pops up on your news all the time. It's like these mass shooting happens. Everybody gives their thoughts and prayers. Some people donate money to the victims.
Yeah.
And then it goes away. And then it comes back again. And there's a mass shooting. And everyone posts their thoughts and prayers. Some people donate to the victims. And then it goes away.
Right.
And it's been a pretty vicious cycle for, how long now?
Forever.
Parkland, El Paso.
Yeah.
And so on,
I'm trying to get this guy to come on. He sells guns in, like, his own private shop. His name is Matthew Smith, but he has his own shop, and I'm trying to get him to come on because I figure since he sells guns, he probably has a good idea of the laws and stuff like that. But I feel like he didn't. I also want to talk to him about, like, schools starting to be able to allow teachers to have guns. I feel like he's nervous that I'm just going to attack the gun thing, but I'm pro-gun. I 100% am.
You just want to hear his thoughts on it.
I want to hear his thoughts on it, and I want to hear anybody's thoughts that has any idea of how it gets better.
Yeah.
That's not just take away everybody's guns, because I'm not for that.
No, that you can't. That cannot be. That cannot be the answer.
Well,
I don't know if arming teachers is the answer either, but that's where it's one of the hardest debates because what is the right answer to stop this?
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that make me nervous about teachers.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom about it today. My mom, retired teacher in the Steubenville City School System, and I was like, "Can you imagine if you had to wield a weapon?" And I did this impression of her with her, and, like, hands just shaking. She was like, I'd probably be so nervous I'd just shoot myself. And I'm like, so I think there's probably certain members of the faculty at the schools that should have the access to it because I love my mother. She'd lay down her life for any of her students.
Yes.
But she wouldn't have a gun in her hand doing it.
No.
And not operating it properly.
No, and that's my thing. I think if you're going to have them, they need to have a lot of training, not just like your concealed carry training. Like you need some tactical.
It has
training.
to be tactical.
Yeah.
It has to be in. They have to set up a course that's in a school. It has to mimic it.
Yeah.
As much as you can.
Right, because it's a big difference between like, oh, I deer hunt, so I should be the one that has the gun. Yeah, well, people aren't shooting at you. When
You might
you're
be
deer
a
hunting.
shot, but when was the last time the deer fucking pulled a strap and started cracking back at you, and you had to duck from a few shells?
That would be some crazy shit, though.
It would. That was like that one like deer hunter game, that arcade game.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
like if you got so far, the deer would like get a weapon and start shooting back.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
It was like the 3D one, like the animals would get like be strapped if you had to do really well at the
That's
game
fucking
because they
great.
would like pull out guns and start shooting back at you.
Oh man, to get on a little bit lighter note, we got pretty serious there. Mandalorian, we talked about that a little bit before we even started.
Yeah, we'll try not to spoil anything since we are like one day removed from the culminative episode.
Well, no, we'll go ahead and say whatever we want because this won't even be posted till Wednesday.
All right, yeah, fuck y'all.
Yeah, fuck
Get
y'all.
on your shit. Watch The Mandalorian. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, listen, if you don't want to know about The Mandalorian, then don't listen to this for the next 15, 20 minutes.
Turn it off. Is it off?
Is it off? Are
Okay.
you ready?
All right, go ahead.
So what do you think of it?
I think it was phenomenal. You can tell they put a lot of money into it. I think the reason why we got some shorter episodes there was because like it was a full scale Star Wars production for every episode. All the effects were great. I can't really say anything bad about it. Everything was pretty phenomenal as far as you have me. In the middle there, I kind of got like a vibe. Like I wasn't getting enough storyline. It kind of turned into like this week on The Mandalorian, and like there was a problem this week, and like nothing. It wasn't connecting as much as I thought it might. But then with like the last few, maybe 7 and 8, definitely pretty much put it all into perspective and really tied it all together. And I really did like every minute of it. I can't really find anything wrong.
Yeah,
if I rewatch it, maybe I'll find some things I could nitpick. But no, probably not. It was pretty amazing the whole way through.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I enjoyed it. I loved it for what it was. I don't think it's as good as a lot of people make it out to be. I mean, the acting is okay, which kind of goes with Star Wars, to be honest.
Right.
So, but I agree with you with the storyline. Mm-hmm. There's times in there where it just felt like this week on The Mandalorian, he's going to get trapped by other bounty hunters.
Yeah, yeah. I got that feeling for a while, and I didn't mind it so much because everything was kind of like a whole new experience, and they did wrap it together pretty well. A couple things they never went back to mention was the samples they took from the baby, and like what was that episode 3 when he did turn it over, and then he had the change of heart. And interesting thing about that, I noticed online when people reviewed him, the patch that scientist had on his shoulder was the same as like the patches they wore in the clone facilities in one of the Clone Wars movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe we can draw some parallels. Maybe they're trying to. They knew he was like some all-powerful being, and they want to clone him in some sort of way to use him for evil.
That makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
Because he definitely had, like, if you check out the shoulder patch he had.
Right there, what's that guy's name? This is one thing that really let me down.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Okay, what's his name in the show? Do you remember?
I think it was Moth something.
Try to find that guy. I need a picture of that guy in his costume on that show, because while they spend a lot of money on a lot of stuff, like the robots they look good for Star Wars robots.
Right.
They
it's always kind of weird functioning droids. It always is.
Right.
So, like you go take
right.
it with
They can travel across space, but they can't make a Terminator style robot.
Right.
Like why do your robots always look like they have buckets on their head?
The IG-11, he was kind of a Terminator.
So we need to find one where he's standing, you can see his chest, because they did really good with a lot of the graphics, but his chest gear is the most simple looking thing. It looks like just a piece of plastic. It has these fake lights on it that look fake. They definitely do not light up.
It's true.
100% they do not light up.
His name is Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon. They should try to find scroll down on this, Carl. Trying to find
another very visual part of the episode.
Look, yeah, but everybody should look this up. His name is Moff Gideon, and if you go up a little bit, Brian, or Carl,
Carl.
click on that one right there.
Fix it in post.
Nope, it's the one that's covered. That one right there, up top.
Carl
that
is
one.
killing it. There you go.
Look how fake that looks. Can you get that bigger, Carl?
Right. Look at that. It just kind of looks like a spray painted
That
plastic
is.
chest piece, like a homemade cosplayer would make.
I noticed it immediately because they were on him for so long in the last
They
episode.
would, and he kind of came out of nowhere too. I thought Walter Herzog character
Completely.
was going to be the main, source of evil.
Look at that. That is terrible.
He's got a pretty janky costume, lady
You
and
spent
gentlemen.
all the money on all these graphics and everything, and then this guy has this on?
I
What
know.
are we
all
talking
the
about?
stormtroopers and all the Imperial troopers, they look great.
Yeah.
They look movie quality, and then this guy, they really did.
He's got some weird Darth Vader chest plate on that looks like it's supposed to have lights and things, but they are definitely just painted circles and painted stripes. They are not any kind of light. They are nothing. There's literally, look at that. There's no point to those things being there. It could have just been a plain black chest plate. Why did you do that? Tell me that doesn't look ridiculous. Carl, does that look ridiculous?
It looks ridiculous. Carl said it. You heard it. Okay, let's talk about some good things about this show because I did love it.
I did love it, but that threw me off.
A lot. They did some neat stuff. I think on you and your brother's episode, you actually talked about this, and he didn't like it when the baby carriage moved away from the Mandalorian and followed the stormtrooper. First of all, shut up, PJ. They all had trackers. They could have all had things that made the fucking thing follow them. One interesting thing.
But you feel like there would have to be some kind of transfer.
Right. Nah, not important. The important thing was they did like a kind of like an old school filmmaking trick to give you an uneasy feeling as a viewer, whatever. Every scene to that episode, when you would see the Mandalorian walking with the carriage and it was following him, the camera would pan with them. The camera was always following them. It was stuck on that.
Right.
And an interesting trick in filmmaking that they did was after he handed it over, the carriage moves away, the camera stays. It doesn't follow it. So it builds an uneasy feeling in you because you've already developed that connection to the character.
Okay.
And you want to follow it and you care about it already.
Where do you learn
know,
about this shit?
It's a small thing. You just pick things up. Life, man, you just got to always be studying and always be learning. And if things interest you, you look into them. Yeah. But yeah, so the camera stays, the carriage moves away. It already makes you feel uneasy because you're like, oh no, that's my baby.
Right, yeah.
Moving away. And you're like, what the fuck? You kind of start to hate the Mandalorian character because he gave him away. He sold him. He sold the little baby.
Yeah.
But he always cared about him and he went back for him. And, the rest is history, so to speak.
Well, and for sure, Baby Yoda is absolutely one of the best things to ever come out of anything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, taking the internet by storm. He's everywhere. My sister loves him. She hasn't seen a Star Wars a day in her life. She loves Baby Yoda and all the memes.
Why does it look like he's hitting like a hookah or something there? No, that's a glove. Okay,
Yeah.
I see what it is. It's when he had the necklace.
When he had that Mandalorian necklace towards the end.
Yeah.
Like 50 there too.
Oh, yeah. He's a baby, but he's 50 because they live to be
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, Yoda was 999 when he passed away, I believe.
No shit.
Yeah. But he always looks like an old ass thing.
But this is the cutest thing that might have ever hit the internet.
Did you see that thing? Brian had it said it on one of the other images you had, but Jason Sudeikis was one of the stormtroopers at the beginning that was punching it.
Oh, no shit.
One of the speed bike riders. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And the other guy's famous too, but his name escapes me, and he's not as well known to me as Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
But I forget his name. We can look it up in post.
There
Fix it in post, Carl.
There are actually a couple other shows I wanted to hit that I watched recently that I really loved. Did you watch The Witcher at all yet?
I'm watching it. I think I've seen 3-4 episodes. I love it. I do love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
You can tell, what's his name, Superman, he fully immersed in the character. If you know any backstory about the character from the video games, I mean, he sounds just like him. All the mannerisms are all the same. I only ever saw the
I literally
third
think he's
game
perfect for
played.
the role.
He truly is. And if you look into it a little bit, research the show a little bit, you can he wanted the role from the beginning. He loves the games. He's a fan of all that.
No
I think
shit.
there's books too. I think there's books that the games were based off of.
They're initially short stories.
Short stories.
They're initially
That makes
short
a lot of
stories,
sense.
and then they got turned into graphic novels.
Okay.
But they are initially short stories, and they're from some guy. They're not even
Some German
American in any. I don't even think they're German. It's like Norwegian
Or Polish or something.
Yeah, something crazy. TV series for the Polish TV series. Da, 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 da. You see it on there, Carl? looking for where the books were originally from.
It says Polish writer.
So Polish.
Andrzej
So,
Sapkowski.
so it's got to be Poland.
Series
That
by the
makes
same
sense.
name. Yeah, Polish
Yeah.
writer. But yeah, just really amazing. I can't wait to get further into. What is there? 8 episodes in the season? Did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished
You
it.
finished it. I think I'm on 3. Maybe I think I might. No, I watched 3. I think I'm on 4. But yeah, I love it so far. I mean, it gives you that fantastical, storyline that
Great storyline.
kind of like Game
crossover.
of Thrones, but a little bit, more rooted
different.
in scary horror kind of
A lot of
thing.
people keep comparing it like, oh, it's nothing compared to Game of Thrones. Stop comparing it. It's definitely not the same thing.
No, don't compare it, especially if you're going in to watch it and enjoy it, because
Yeah.
it's not the same at all. Just gives you, it's the same.
It has more to do with magic than it does dragons and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
more magic and a little more horror, a little more darkness.
Yeah, for sure.
In Game of Thrones.
But it's awesome. It's really good.
But
And
it's in the similarities to Game of Thrones. I would say it has the same universe to draw information from. That's one of the reasons why Game of Thrones is so successful, I think, because if like a true fan can look into it, they can learn a whole lot more about the universe. There's
Yeah.
some fantasy shows that me and my girlfriend, we mentioned her earlier. She's lovely. Shout out, Corinne. We watched this show on Amazon Prime called Carnival Row. It's with Orlando Bloom and
I watched that.
Cara Delevingne. Okay,
I
pretty
finished
cool.
it.
Pretty cool show.
Yeah, pretty cool. Not bad.
Again, Fantastic Beasts, like Game of Thrones, The Witcher,
Yeah.
whatever. Same genre, you could
Right.
say. But they just kind of created that show. It's not based on anything. There's no universe to pull from. So when they talk about the history, and you want to go and look into it, there's not like those stories aren't there. Like you can look up the maps of the different worlds and
Right,
things like that,
right.
but if you actually want to like immerse yourself in the universe, I guess you could say it's not like Star Wars or Game of Thrones or The Witcher, even, where you can go and there's other information and other stories you can learn about.
Yeah, there's
It's
nothing
just-
to pull from.
It's just
it.
that, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, but look at all this stuff that exists in this one universe. There's fairies, there's half goat, half man, there's just humans,
Yeah.
but also fairy blood, and there's just not a whole lot to learn about it. And if you really want to fully immerse yourself in something, I think you need
that backstory.
that backstory. Because I mean, Game of Thrones, you can lose yourself in the histories. I mean, there's tomes, man, huge books. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and then the information that's on the internet, and like there's some stuff that's canon, like other people have created, and it's tied in because they consider it, okay, yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that Star Wars stuff. There's so many books and stories like that are not even considered related anymore after they made like different purchases and rights changed hands. They were like,
Right.
no, none of that stuff even counts. But there's still a whole wealth and whole universe of information you can look into.
Real quick, crazy about Star Wars is there are so many books. So many books.
I couldn't even begin to think about how many books there are and like the stories they tell, because I'm
Yeah.
pretty much the main storyline in Star Wars and The Mandalorian now.
Right.
I haven't seen the new movie yet, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either.
No, I am excited to.
By the way, Carl, if you want another beer, there's some in that fridge.
381 books, Carl says, that are canon, unfilled, still going into all types and published to date, give or take.
For Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's
381 books.
crazy. Yeah, that's wild.
But a lot, when like rights and stuff changed hands, they did a lot of away with a lot of that stuff and said, no, this isn't canon and things like that.
Really?
Yeah, there's actually I saw this thing like George Lucas. He wanted to keep Yoda's origin like so much of a secret. Like he wants them to be like a mystery, basically. He even got like it was either part of a video game or like a playing card, like like those magic cards they have, like Star Wars ones. There was one that showed it wasn't Yoda, but it was the same species, and it showed him, and it showed like a gathering, like 9 of them in a circle, and they were like posing around like this big face in the wall, carving in the wall, and they looked like they were praying. So it was kind of giving you like a look
hint
into
his.
Yeah, he got it pulled. He said, no, no, this isn't it, and you're not selling that.
And that's crazy because what would be more popular than a series or a series of movies all about Yoda?
Yeah, I mean, look at Baby Yoda now. He's taking the world by storm. Everybody loves him. Everybody wants one.
Yeah, you can't. I'll tell you where they messed up is they didn't make the like dolls or stuffed animals or anything available before Christmas.
Yeah,
You couldn't get any of them till after Christmas.
there was barely any merchandise for the Mandalorian. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Disney, I know you know how to make money, and you set the Star Wars up for the movie, but where was you would have banked for Christmas season?
Especially on Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Everybody would have bought their kid a Baby
I know.
Yoda.
I
Every
ordered-
single person.
I ordered the the Funko Pop, those little figurines, cartoony figurines. I ordered his Baby Yoda when they announced it. It's not going to come till like May 2020.
That's
or something like that.
Crazy.
Maybe February.
I'll tell you the biggest disappointment with The Witcher is that the next episodes aren't coming out till 2021.
Oh, 21?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Isn't that a letdown?
Why?
Yeah. The fuck. And literally, like, I'm not going to give anything away, but literally where it ends at is like where you were waiting for it to go the whole time and you wanted to see where it went from there.
Ugh.
And you're just like, wait, now I have to wait till 2021? Are you out of your fucking mind?
2021. That's crazy. That makes me not even want to. Like, I want to space it out now. I don't want to watch it all right away.
Yeah.
The good thing, I mean, The Mandalorian, it said fall 2020, so they're not going to
right. They're coming out with it pretty quick.
Once 2020 hits on Disney Plus, I think we're going to start getting some of those Marvel shows as
which
well.
I'm super excited for.
I forget what the first one's going to be. Maybe WandaVision.
I think WandaVision is the first one. It's either that or the Falcon.
Yeah. Winter Soldier one.
Winter Soldier, yeah.
Yeah, which is going to be awesome, too, because, if you saw the end of Endgame, you know what the Falcon gets.
Right. I want to get into a show off on Amazon, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, but I'm going to have to take a potty break, so if I could get a pause.
Pause.
All right, back from the potty break. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my bladder these days, but apparently I'm a 90-year-old man, as I said last time.
You're a child.
But so during that break, though, we found out Justin had something he really wanted to talk about.
Okay.
First of all, Rampage and Fedor are fighting tonight.
I think it's tonight.
Fighting. They're fighting tonight, not farting. They might be farting. I don't know.
It's either tonight or tomorrow. It's soon, and it's under Bellator, which is kind of like where UFC heavyweights go to die. As far as I can tell, I haven't ever seen them post an up-and-coming heavyweight. They got some great fighters in other divisions,
right.
But heavyweight always seems to be some guy that used to be in the UFC.
Right. Crazy. Rory McDonald left. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, for the Professional Fighters League, which I think he can dominate and get $1 million if he wins those tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for Rory, honestly, because he's a great fighter, but he could never win the big one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was champ in Bellator, but
not UFC. He's a great fighter, though.
He is
one of the best fights of all time.
Okay, so Rampage and Fedor. So Fedor's weighing in about 240. Rampage is coming in at a healthy 265, the heaviest he's ever been.
And he fought at 205 his whole career.
Yeah, and he wants to go back and finish his career. Dave told me earlier at 205, which is probably impossible.
Yeah.
So he's given this interview beforehand. He's got this bandana tied around his face because why the fuck not? He's still Rampage. He's still crazy.
Did you say it's a Monster bandana?
Yeah, it is. Monster Energy, one of its sponsors. So I mean that has something to do with it because and the other, if you're not in the UFC, you can still have all kinds of sponsors, which kind of
why a lot of people go to Bellator.
Mm-hmm, get all those private sponsorships, and you can really bank off yourself.
Yeah.
So the interview starts off regular enough. He's just kind of talking about Fedor, and he's like,
but with a bandana on his face.
With the bandana on his face, yes, it's
covering his mouth.
Yeah, he's gillied up. He's ready to fucking. He's gooned up. He's ready. Trying to give off that persona. He's gangster, which he is. Shout out Rampage.
Shout out Rampage.
But so it starts off regular enough. And he's talking about. He's like, sometimes there's in a fight. And in the back of a fighter's mind, they're like, oh, you're getting your ass beat. You're tired. Just go ahead and get choked out. Get submitted. Things like that.
I don't think most fighters say that.
Yeah, he's saying that's always in like the back of a fighter. He's like, oh, I'm getting a nice paycheck. Just get cracked once and go down, whatever. And then he's like, but when me and Fedor fight, it's on our daughter's birthday. Him and Fedor have daughters that share the same birthday.
No shit.
So he's like building up this combo. He's like, and when I'm fighting and it's my daughter's birthday and he's fighting and it's his daughter's birthday, all I can think about is, man, we was fucking at the same time. Completely flips the script. No one's ready for it. Man, we was fucking at the same time. He was like, and now a lot of my sex life, I'm just thinking about if Fedor's fucking right now. He's like, am I still even hetero? I'm just thinking about if Fedor's fucking right now. I'm fucking. Is Fedor fucking? And then he talks about that somebody asks him a question. He's like, yeah, he's just straight faced, got his girl bent over, not even looking at the back of her head, just fucking in my thoughts. Got his ugly Christmas sweater on, nothing else. He thinks you're gonna say something like super motivational, like warrior shit, like my daughter's birthday and his daughter's birthday, and all I can think about is we was fucking at the same time.
You're expecting like an old school WWE promo.
Yeah. He's like talking like, oh, it's my daughter's birthday. I could never lose in front of her. I'd never give up no matter what. We would fight 50 rounds. I don't care. But no, he's like, man, we was fucking at the same time.
That is hilarious.
Oh man.
I do got to tell you this story because it kind of relates. You were talking about Fedor. He said Fedor had a ugly Christmas sweater on. Fucking. So Thad, his family does a white elephant.
Shout out Thad.
Shout out Thad. But they white elephant, so nobody knows what gift they're given.
Mm-hmm.
And in most places, you can like steal somebody's gift.
Right. Yeah. You open your gift, and then if you want it, you hang on to it, and then but not, you can take someone else's and trade them. And at the end, somebody has the best gift, right?
Yeah, they have a little bit of different rules, but so we're not going to get into that. But so he was trying to figure out what to do. It's like the day of or the day before. We just talked about it in the last episode, but you have to hear this. He is trying to figure out what to do. He doesn't want to be the guy that just buys like a 6-pack and is like, okay, white elephant. So he calls Andy, David Anderson, and apparently Andy has a Santa Claus costume or outfit, whatever. So
Santa
he's
on
like,
deck. Shout out Dave Anderson for all your Santa needs.
So he says, Dave, I just need the coat, the beard, and the hat.
No pants?
He's like, and I need you to wrap up a box or a present that you already have. And he goes and does a photo shoot with Andy and his woman where he has the coat open, the beard and the hat on, but he's not wearing any pants, and he's covering his junk with the box that they wrapped, always with the beer in his hand, and one, he's got like his ass showing. He blows these pictures up and frames them.
Yes.
And that is the gift he brings to the white elephant party for his family.
His family.
Who gets it? His aunt.
Oh, I was hoping it was his dad.
So the whole time people are like passing around and nobody's like really talking about it. And then all of a sudden his aunt goes, "Is this Thad?" And he says, they just look over at him and he's just shaking his head. Yes. Doesn't say a word.
You're damn right. It's me.
He's got one where he's laying down and either the gift or just a 6-pack of beer is covering his junk, and he's just there in all of his glory. He said,
"What a phenomenal idea!"
He said, "If we get to 1,500 downloads, he'll put them on the Instagram for Gathering of Fools."
Nice. That'll get you 1,500 more downloads.
Dude, he
or
is
1,000. What'd you say?
He's hilarious. 1,500.
All right, 1,500 more if Thad posts his booty cheeks.
He is so funny. It's hilarious. Oh man. But before we exited, we wanted to talk about the Marvelous Miss Maisel. And that show is one of my surprises of the year, even though it's been around before that. I just started watching it.
Mm-hmm. Third season now. Third season it just came out.
Yeah, well, the fourth season, thank God, is coming in 2020. They go every year.
Yes.
But I always saw the picture for it on Amazon, but I was like, this lady in old school clothes, I don't give a shit about this.
Didn't really know what it was.
Well, and then even when Joe Rogan talked about it and kind of was letting you know what it was, I was still like, I don't know. But I finally started watching it, and I blew through 3 seasons in a matter of like 2 weeks.
Dude, phenomenal show. Corinne and I, shout out Corinne, love you. We're on the 3rd season currently. But yeah, we watched the first 2 just like lickety split, and we're ready for the 3rd one. We didn't start it when it came out, just like you. We kind of just found it. I don't know what made us watch it. Just kind of was there, and I had heard about it probably through the same avenues that you did. And yeah, just started watching it one day. Needed a show to watch, and threw that on, and just couldn't have been happier. Like amazing, hilarious,
so fucking funny.
1950s, end of the 50s.
1950s. So
Jewish woman in New York.
Yeah, and so in that time frame, women, even if they went to college, it seems like a lot of them were just trying to find their husband. I mean, I'm sure some
because she went to college. She was well educated.
That's where she met her husband. And I'm sure lots of women from the 1950s did great things with their college, but that is kind of what the show tells you, is that a lot of them just went there to try to find their husband, stuff like that.
That was the time. That's what you did.
Exactly. So her husband ends up doing well in business, but he always wants to be a stand-up comedian. Mm-hmm. And they go to this little hole-in-the-wall place, and he does a stand-up gig, and it goes okay, but he's actually stealing other people's material, this and that. He ends up...
Says everybody does it.
Yeah.
Which probably was true at the time, but...
right. It probably was, but it's not right. Shouldn't do that. But he bombs one night and ends up admitting that he's been cheating on her and leaves her, and she gets drunk and she goes down to the comedy place they go to and goes up there and just drunk starts talking strain of thought comedy and destroys.
Just rambles on.
Just rambles on, kills the crowd. Everybody's dying laughing.
Pulls her titties out.
Yeah, she did pull her titties
She was
out.
like, who would leave these?
Who would leave these?
Oh, man.
Gets arrested because apparently in that time frame, if you said things too vulgar or showed your titties or something like that,
it was
then
like lewd and indecent.
And you got arrested.
Everything. And yeah, she went to jail.
Even just for words, you got arrested.
Right, just words. That's why, what's his name? Lenny Bruce. So
Lenny
groundbreaking,
Bruce.
And he's in the show. Decent bit, recurring character. He's in there a couple episodes. He's out. He's in. He comes back and forth. But because he was arrested for the same thing at the time, and that's why he was so groundbreaking, and everyone
Correct.
cites him as a inspiration, I guess you would say, because
right, most people think he's like one of the best ever.
Yeah,
and
it's always
groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's always the person that's willing to take the next step, like step over the lines that haven't been crossed yet, like Kinnison and Pryor. And
Yeah, for sure.
Eddie Murphy and
but
Lenny Bruce, number one.
But so the person that runs that comedy place they're at is this female who hated her husband,
because he stunk. He really did. He wasn't
good, and she knew that his material was stolen.
Yeah, and she even was helping him write into his notebook. Wasn't she helping
the wife
him a little
was
bit?
yeah,
Mrs.
the star
Maisel was.
She was helping him write in the notebook. She was taking notes. She was the one that was really dedicating to it, really.
Yeah,
and so she ends up the person who runs the club ends up convincing her to actually try to go for it, and it is awesome.
Yeah.
Her comedy is vulgar. It's not just some like little housewife comedy. She like goes for the gusto.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so well done. It's hilarious. Everybody should check out The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, the writing is just great. Every episode's hilarious. I can't really think of a bad one or one I didn't enjoy. Always keeps your attention to. The story is great because they're going through a divorce in the late 50s, which wasn't really a thing that happened. You kind of like a lot of wives.
Right, it happened, but it was very frowned upon. Like people really judged people for that happening.
And the woman got judged mostly, no matter what it was. The woman would be the one getting judged, with it's horrible.
At least that's what happens to her.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, he was being
the worst,
unfaithful, and his infidelity is what caused them to split. But and hearing her bitch about the woman that he left her or was cheating on her with is just hilarious.
Oh man, he's like, she's dumb. She can't even figure out how to sharpen a pencil.
It's so good, so good. Everyone needs to take a peek at The Marvelous Miss Maisel for sure.
Definitely check it out.
I kind of made a reference to it on my Instagram story a few days ago because Christmas Day, Corinne and I were both sick with the flu. Like there's horrendous flu going around. Everybody stay healthy, stay hydrated. Me and Corinne both had it, both sick for Christmas. Every year we've had Christmas dinner on Christmas Day at my girlfriend's mom's house, and she had to cancel it this year and move it to. It's actually tomorrow now because we were both sick.
That's awesome that you're still redoing it though. Most people just cancel it and call it a day.
No, got to give the children a Christmas. Yeah. So we were both deathly ill, and we got Chinese takeout that night, and I was like, I said, thank Yahweh for good, wholesome Jewish traditions, because Chinese restaurants are open on Christmas Day because of, Jewish people, they aren't looking to cook. They aren't celebrating.
Right.
Sometimes it's during Hanukkah, so they have, their meals, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes Hanukkah falls mostly before Christmas, I think, but I don't know.
Regardless.
Let's not get hung up on that. Yeah. So we got Chinese food that evening, like, a good Jewish couple would.
That's great.
And they have Chinese takeout a lot in the show.
Oh yeah, for
every
sure.
now and then. So it's just and I actually saw, again, when you do things and you become interested, you look into them because we have a wealth of information at our fingertips these days.
Yeah, just right on your phone.
I looked into it, and it actually is a real tradition. It started when a Chinese restaurant owner, because Chinese people, they're not big on Christmas either.
No,
the Asian culture, I think their big holiday is Chinese New Year. In Vietnam, they call it Vietnamese New Year. It's the same holiday though.
Yeah.
I think they all celebrate that, and there's gift giving, I think, as far as I understand, but there's also this weird thing where they do. I'm getting sidetracked, but this, like, if you're single, the rest of your family gives you money. If you're unmarried.
Oh fuck! I'd be rich by now.
Yeah, dude, you'd be stacking.
I'd be stacked. I'm pushing 40, still single out here. What's up, Mom? I need some money.
You're in the wrong culture. It's not just Mom. PJ'd be giving you money. Hannah and Brad be giving you money. They'd all have to give you money.
Hey, y'all owe me money.
Yeah, you're Asian now.
Yeah, I listen. My dad married an Asian woman once. I think that counts.
I think that does count.
Yeah, I think that counts. You all owe me money.
Mom, Hannah, Bradley, PJ,
Look,
Lacey.
I'm
You owe
just-
David money. I'm sorry.
I'm just looking for enough to pay off this podcast equipment, all right?
Let's get this thing off the ground. What was I talking about?
I don't remember where you were going with it.
It is actually rooted in kind of a tradition. I think it happened in New York because, large Jewish population there. And a Chinese restaurant owner took like a bunch of Chinese food to like a Jewish, like a boys and girls club or something like that, maybe in like the 40s or 50s. And it just kind of like a lot of Jewish people eat Chinese food on Christmas Day because the restaurants are open because they're two cultures that aren't celebrating.
Right.
And things like that stay open for them, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that was it.
So yeah, we were
That is
sick and we
interesting.
ate Chinese takeout on Christmas Day like a good Jewish couple.
Who doesn't like Chinese takeout?
I don't know. Dum-dums.
Dum-dums. I need my what are they, steamed dumplings ASAP.
Yeah, and apparently it's not even rare in our area because Corinne went to pick it up. I think I was in bed dying and she had just gone and happened to get it. And she said their phone was ringing off the hook.
Yeah, I
Just
believe that.
blowing up.
Well, they're the only place open.
Yeah, only place open. A lot of people,
Yeah.
if they're not having family over or they're not cooking or they're waiting until the weekend because I mean a lot of jobs Christmas is just one day to a lot of places and
Yeah.
you're working every other day, so you might wait till the weekend, wait till everybody's off. Maybe that's when family could come in.
Right.
So Christmas Day on a Wednesday kind of is bougie.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
bougie.
So we went to my family for Christmas morning and then like just went home and went to bed, tried to get healthy.
Try to get healthy. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, some of our family members got sick as well. PJ wasn't feeling good.
Yeah, me and Corinne was rough. I've never really seen her so bad. Like just it was a weird flu. The flu's so respiratory these days. Like
Yeah.
it's not puking and diarrhea anymore. It's
Right.
like body aches and just
Yeah.
the worst
Just trying
cold
to
you can
kill you.
imagine. Yeah, just bad stuff.
Yeah. That's crazy that you say that you've never seen Corinne that bad because as much as I love Corinne, she gets decently sick fairly often.
No, poor lady.
I don't know if she needs more greens, what it is. I feel like she eats plenty of vegetables.
We got a great diet. We've worked on that for a long time, so I think
Yeah.
our diet is in a good place right now.
Yeah, you guys are you specifically have always been really big on trying to eat the right food.
Yeah, you just gotta cook it for yourself and cook it the right way, and
Yeah.
good fats, high vegetables, work
That's-
some protein in, work some meat in. I mean, you don't have to be a vegetarian, but eat more vegetables.
Yeah, you should be eating more vegetables than pretty much anything else.
Big portion of vegetables. Like the meat, the traditional American plate. What's outnumbering what on the plate?
The protein,
meat is large.
Whatever the meat is, yeah.
The starch is small. The vegetable is a small circle as well.
Yeah.
It should be the other way around. The vegetable should dominate your plate.
Yeah.
You could have a small, maybe 3 ounces of meat, 3 ounces of starch, 8
Yeah.
ounces of veggies on your plate.
That's
for
actually-
every meal.
That's actually what I was saying. When Hannah was on here, we talked about health, and obviously she's vegan and stuff. But what I said
Hannah's vegan?
was, yeah,
Just kidding. Shout out Hannah. Much love.
if you are going to still eat meat, the big problem is you shouldn't be trying to eat a 12-ounce steak every time you sit down to dinner.
No, your body can't process that.
Yeah.
Like that's what people need to realize. Your body can't process that much protein from any source.
Yeah,
And
I
not
always
just
say
meat. You're getting proteins from other sources.
Right.
So your body can only process so much. The rest is just going to get flushed out.
Yeah. I always say that people should be like, if I buy a steak at the store, if I'm cooking for myself, I usually try to cut it in half.
Mm-hmm.
You really should, I think, be sticking between 4 and 6 ounces of your steak or whatever the meat is.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's
And
a good
then
number.
you should
I mean, you
have
can
it-
read into different studies. Some people say 3 ounces of meat along with vegetables is like the most you can process because you're, like I said, you're still pulling protein from other sources.
Correct.
Some people say 3. There's so much debate, and there's no right answer. I don't think it's all individual for you.
But no matter what, you shouldn't be eating a 12-ounce steak every time you sit down. You shouldn't
No.
be eating an 8-ounce steak every time you sit down.
No. Another funny thing I saw that you had posted, I think maybe Hannah had posted about it, and you talked to on the same thread, was when someone was like trashing the Impossible Whopper, and you were like, as a vegan option, and they
Yeah.
were like, because it's not healthy, and you were like, it's a vegetarian option at Burger King. It's not health food. Like, what are we doing here, people?
Yeah, it's not supposed to be great for you.
It's so true. Yeah, it's so true. Like if you're getting food at Burger King,
it's not healthy.
it's not healthy. Not an item on the menu. It's not healthy. Any fast food restaurant, it's
Right.
done the wrong way. It's not quality ingredients. Like they can tell you it is. A lot of places, even like Taco Bell, they've switched it up. I mean, they've actually become one of the more healthier options in the fast food world. But you have to get the right things.
Yeah, like their chicken quesadilla is supposed to be one of the better things out of a fast food restaurant.
Right. You have to get the right one though, because they have like a value chicken quesadilla that's like shredded chicken and like a bunch of cheese and ranch dressing.
You got to get like the regular one.
Yeah, you have to get the regular one. They have those power bowls and they have like black bean.
Oh, I forgot about the power bowls.
Vegan options.
I need to start
even
trying those.
Vegetarian options. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah,
fast food. It's not health food. It's a vegetarian option at a fast food restaurant.
Right. Let it be what it is.
Yeah.
That's also like the person, Hannah even brought it up in the podcast we did with her. She brought up the fact that, well, I think I might have brought it up. Either way, the guy that's suing Burger King because they cook that veggie Whopper, or whatever it is, the Impossible Whopper, on the same grill as the regular meat.
Okay. I mean,
it's not an allergy. It's not you're going to get deathly ill from eating it, from eating meat. If you feel that hardcore about it, then you can tell them to put it in the microwave.
Yeah. It's all the same.
Right.
They're just giving you that feel of flame broiling it or grilling it. They're just throwing it on there till it gets hot and edible.
Right.
It's already cooked. Or
Don't
whatever.
Don't be that guy. Eating that is not going to kill you. If you feel that strongly about it yourself, then you can tell them to put it in the microwave.
Yeah. Or don't go to Burger King again.
Right. Or don't go to Burger King. Go fucking get
yourself
fix somewhere else.
Yeah, get a Beyond Patty and cook it at home because that's probably what you should do anyway. If you want a healthy option.
Yeah, I can't lie. I like that Impossible Whopper better than the regular Whopper.
Really? I've never had it.
It's delicious, man. I add cheese to it, but
yeah,
I actually got me to the point where I thought about, because I had to try it and then I loved it. So it's usually what I get when I go there now.
Really?
Yeah, I just think it's better. It just
Interesting.
tastes better. But
that's pretty cool.
It made me think about buying some of that stuff at like the grocery store, but it is so expensive.
Yeah, that's the thing about it too. It's unfortunate that it's that expensive. I don't know. We had looked into the cost effectiveness of a vegan diet, and we actually, Corinne and I broke it down to. I don't think we'd ever do it fully. We might do maybe 75%.
Yeah,
like lunch and breakfast. That's like plant based.
Well, that's one thing Hannah actually brought up. She said it's, even if you are going to eat meat, it's not good to eat it all day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's true. I don't think there's much argument to make against that. And because think about it, who wants to like floor themselves at lunch? Like,
right.
Do you want to be tired the rest of the day?
Yeah.
You want to get super full?
Yeah.
Especially you're going to work, you're having a productive day. You want to eat a big ass lunch?
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you
eat a big ass salad.
Yeah, and I can tell you for sure
Yeah, the meat sweats. Shout out Carl, who looks like he has a case of the meat sweats right about now.
Yeah. As he scratches his ass.
Yeah. He just farted. Picked his nose, and took a bite of meat.
And is drinking a beer.
Yeah, washed it down with a beer. How many rules are we breaking tonight?
We're going crazy.
I don't have any rules.
No rules.
No rules, Carl. That's what we call him.
He did bring a few claws. There ain't no laws when you're drinking them claws, Carl.
There ain't no laws when you drinking them claws. Get the fuck out of here. That is hilarious.
Shout out White Claw.
White Claw. This dude, Carl, comes into my house. I have all IPAs and stouts. I got all this craft beer. Justin says, "Can I get a craft beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, no problem." And Carl says, "Hey, man, I'll trade you these 2 Rolling Rocks and 2 White Claws for an IPA."
It was 2 Heinekens, even worse.
Oh, it's 2 Heinekens?
You could basically just give those to your dogs.
Oh, fucking Carl.
He brought 2 White Claws and 2 Heinekens. And like, I'll make an even square trade for one of them delicious IPAs. Now you're sipping on your clown shoes.
Assholes are the ones that are drinking.
Oh, and then he took the clown shoes beer?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That Carl is something.
Fucking Carl. I don't even care about the Heineken because I'm not a Heineken hater, but the White
it's
Claws,
what it
you're
is
trading
what
me
it
White
is.
Claws for IPAs? Fucking Carl.
You're something, man. I could get fucking folded off some White Claws, though.
I can't act like I've never drank them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, if I had my option,
Yeah, it's on that.
and if he wasn't one of my very best friends in the world, I definitely wouldn't have made that trade.
Right.
If that was a stranger that walked in and said that, I'd be like, "You can go fuck yourself."
Yeah. Who are you? Why are you in my home?
Yeah, you actually have to leave.
Oh my god. Oh man, you wanted to talk about some fighters. What fighter? You had mentioned a fighter you wanted to talk about. Who was he?
Oh yeah, Max Holloway.
Mm-hmm.
The main reason I wanted to bring that up is I just started listening to the episode with him and Joe Rogan, and I was very surprised by. I've heard Max Holloway talk in brief interviews, but I never realized how kind of crazy he sounds. He's one of my favorite fighters, so don't think I'm dissing him in any way, shape, or form. I love Max Holloway. I think he has the heart of a champion. I think he's an amazing fighter, and I think he's got one of the best attitudes in the business. He's a class act.
For sure.
But, man, especially when he first started talking on the Joe Rogan episode, I was like, oh, man, he's for sure got CTE.
He sounded a little loopy. He's a little loopy.
He sounded a little, but then as the conversation progressed, I realized no, he's actually still got a good strain of thought. He's got it. That's
just how he talks.
He just talks weird.
And that's that Hawaiian vibe. He's super laid back.
Oh man, he's the best.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And the crazy thing about him, 28 years old. 28.
Oh, he's only 28?
Only 28.
Oh man, that is crazy.
Just lost his belt to a 31-year-old. So I mean, who's going to be around longer? Max. He's going to be there.
Yeah.
He's going to be at the top for sure.
And to be the guy that is considered the best. What weight division is he? Is it featherweight? To be the best featherweight champion of all time and only be 28 is insane.
Yeah, 28 years old. He's beat them all. Beat everybody.
And I
They're
love
all comers until, Volkanovski came and and that was close. And even Max talked about it. He's like, I thought I was winning. I mean, he kicked the shit out of his front leg. That's for sure. And he had him change his stance.
What I loved
about Max was picking him off too.
Yeah,
he was picking him off too.
What I loved about what Max said about that fight is that he felt people got mad at him because he said he thought he won it. I think he did say in the interview, once he kind of went back and looked, he thought, okay, it was closer than I thought.
Yeah.
But what I really love is somebody said to him afterwards, he said some Hawaiian fan, some woman was like, oh, I'm so sorry for you, this and that. He goes, why are you sorry? She goes, well, you lost your belt, this and that. He goes, baby, I'm alive.
Right.
He's like, I'm alive. I'm good to go. This is just one step. He's like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to get my belt back. He's like, I'm just happy to be alive.
He's lost before. I mean, and then he went on a ridiculous tear. I mean, he's tasted defeat, so it's not. I mean, it's nothing new. It's not like he's not going to bounce back from this, I think.
And he's only faced defeat against like some of the best. One of them being McGregor, which is what I love when people say McGregor never fought anybody until he got to the belt. Like, okay, but he beat a lot of the big name guys. Yeah. You're just not recognizing
Max,
that.
Dustin, Poirier.
It was before his time. Oh, okay, was it? But
I mean,
he hasn't lost
young.
since.
He was still young, but he was in the UFC and he was banging.
Yeah, and I don't think he lost. He didn't lose. He didn't lose since Conor McGregor until this fight. Right?
That was his last loss.
Yeah, look at
some of the wins right there. We'll start here. Cub Swanson, Charles Oliveira, Jerry Stevens, Ricardo Lamas, Anthony Pettis, Jose Aldo, two-time Brian Ortega, lost to Dustin at lightweight.
Yeah,
and Dustin weighed about 175 in that fight. I think he was up there fucking cracking.
He just didn't have the power, man. He just didn't have the power.
Dustin had more power than him, and his boxing was showing through. And he still had him rocked. He still about beat him. He could have finished him.
Yeah,
he had him on his heels more than once.
I'm just so sad Dustin Poirier couldn't do more in his fight against Khabib. I was really
I
kind of knew that it was going to go that way.
I thought Khabib would beat him, but that was kind of I thought that was a little bit of a disappointing performance by Dustin. Honestly,
I do too.
Wasn't too huge on that fight.
Yeah.
And the conditions in that fight, did you hear about that? It was like over 100 degrees in that building. Where were they? Saudi Arabia?
Yeah,
something
that's
crazy.
miserable.
Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
That's fucking miserable.
They built a tent out in the desert, and it just not poor ventilation. Just all the fighters said it was so hot in there. John Anik was, I think Joe Rogan was doing a fight companion for that one, and John Anik was like, he was texting John Anik like between fights. Because Anik was still doesn't miss an event apparently.
Right,
he
doesn't miss any.
He has like 12 children, doesn't miss a single event.
Does he have that many kids?
He's got a bunch.
Oh, that's crazy.
He was texting. He said he was like there was like 101 in that building, like super hot. Like how can you put these athletes in those kind of conditions?
Well, it's probably better for the wrestler too.
You would think, yeah,
because more laying than dancing around.
Yeah, I mean, Khabib, he did his thing. He established his dominance.
He's going to keep doing his thing, man.
Yeah, he's going to keep doing it.
I know everybody thinks Tony Ferguson's the answer, but I'm really not sure. Once Khabib gets you to the ground, it just seems like there's nothing you can do.
Well, everyone always says Tony's so good at fighting off his back. When he has skills like no other fighting off his back. He's beat people off of his back before.
Very unorthodox, yeah.
Those sharp elbows. He's never not made an opponent bleed in like 12 fights or something crazy.
But do you think if he does make Khabib bleed from the bottom that Khabib is going to stop?
Yeah. No, I don't. Khabib has an iron will. You can tell. And you can tell from that Poirier fight, like how fully locked in was that guillotine? Oh, yeah. He had him.
Yeah.
He had him.
He had him for sure.
Khabib did he did the fundamental thing. He turned his chin in, he ducked in, he ducked out of it. But how close was it? I don't think we'll ever hear Khabib tell the tale. I don't think he'd ever tap out, though. You'd have to choke him dead.
Oh, yeah,
he's going to go unconscious. You'd choke him unconscious in the ring. He'd never tap.
As much as I do not really like Khabib's style, and as much as I am a Conor McGregor fan, I do think I'm becoming a bit of a Khabib fan. one, when you go back and you watch some of his fights, like against, I think, was it Michael Johnson? Like
when he was telling him to give up.
like, you have to give up. I have to get the belt.
This is mine.
Just give up. You have to quit.
Yeah.
I'm going to like. Dude, that's kind of crazy. Like, you're beating a professional fighter so bad that you can talk to him nicely.
Like,
he
listen,
wasn't
man.
being mean to him.
No,
he was telling
you
him
just gotta
nicely,
quit.
You just gotta quit, man. You gotta stop. I'm gonna do this. You gotta quit. Like,
It's mine.
yeah. Like, I just don't know.
It's crazy. And yeah, I used to say he didn't have a lot of big wins, but
Well, he definitely did.
it's hard to be a denier anymore.
Yeah, he definitely.
I don't like his style, and I mean that mauling style. Some people are coming around to that. I'd rather see stand and bang.
I'll tell you. Yeah, me too. I'll tell you what's crazy. Well, Donald Cerrone and Conor McGregor are definitely going to stand and bang.
Oh yeah. I mean that's
actually. Let's look at a list of Khabib's fights in the UFC. So don't go too far down there.
Yeah, scroll back up. He's not in the. He was like 16-0 before the UFC.
Yeah, Justin, I don't have my glasses, so I'm going to need you to read the names of the UFC fighters.
Kamal Shaloris.
So nobody.
I don't know. Gilson Tibau.
That's a big name, but he was definitely past his prime at that point and would never really reach the top pinnacle.
Tiago Tavares.
Nope.
Abel Trujillo.
Nope.
Pat Healy.
Nope.
Rafael Dos Anjos.
Well, that's a big name.
I didn't know you fought him.
Yeah, I actually didn't know he fought him either. That dude actually has been a UFC champion. So.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's legit. When was that?
Yeah, somehow I missed that.
UFC on Fox Verdun
2014.
versus Brown. He should have got.
So it was actually before Rafael Dos Anjos was as big as he is now, too.
Okay,
but he was still
yeah.
definitely a beast.
That might be true, but you would think Khabib would have picked up some more steam with that victory. But
yeah, you would think.
Because Dos Anjos went on to be the champ after losing to him. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
After that, Daryl Horscher. Don't know who that is. That was to
I'll
get
tell you what, that's why. Do you see the break? Khabib must have been injured or something.
Oh, yeah,
2014 to 2016.
He had a lot of struggles, I think, with some. He was in
Horscher was a catch weight.
catch weight.
He didn't make
He
weight.
didn't-
He
yeah,
was,
he didn't
remember, he
make
was
weight.
actually having all those.
He was
weight
having some
problems.
weight cutting problems, and
He went to the hospital.
Yeah, and he had been injured too. So yeah,
Fight Tony, this is what, the 5th time?
Yeah.
this is the 5th time they make that fight. I'm still kind of waiting for it to fall through. It's like, well, is it gonna happen? I don't know. But then he started establishing himself after Horscher fight. Michael Johnson, Edison Barbosa.
Michael Johnson's always that guy that just can't get to the top
Yeah,
pinnacle.
he's
Edison Barbosa is top pinnacle, but can't get to like the top three.
Yeah.
You know what I
both
mean?
kind of gatekeepers.
Yeah.
You could say
Iaquinta
Iaquinta. He stepped in for that was Ferguson fight.
might have been the best fight
Then-
against Khabib, actually. Iaquinta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the Khabib might have kind of let it go. He was tired in the later rounds. I think he kind of let it get to a decision because he knew he had beat him. But Iaquinta could have landed still, and
That's the only
he could have put him out.
fight in the UFC he was in.
That's the only one that
No
went to
shit.
decision. I think he finished. the
Yeah,
rest
that's
of them.
crazy.
Some other ones did, but they were only 3 rounds.
Only 3 rounds.
And then you got
Interesting.
Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. And
Yeah.
I think both of them were monsters.
Yeah, I mean they're great fighters. Connor, coming in off of 2 years, probably should have taken a fight before he fought a fucking
Absolutely.
absolute animal like Khabib. But
I'll tell you one thing.
he's not gonna not take the top fight,
Right. I'll tell you one thing that is.
except for maybe now.
Yeah. What is weird is Conor McGregor is fighting Donald Cerrone. And they're fighting at 170 for some unknown reason that nobody can really explain to me. But,
I think Connor's going to go for the 170.
well, I've also heard that.
He's setting that up.
But I also heard that Dana White said if he wins the fight, he will let him fight Khabib again.
Yeah, if Khabib wins, he said he would look at Connor getting the next title shot, which is weird. He's trying to put a weird.
Shut that down, though.
Yeah,
But here, Khabib
yeah,
did
but
shut that
Khabib's
down. But
not
if,
the matchmaker,
no, and if enough money's thrown at him, he's going to do it.
He's gonna do
and
it.
Here's
and he probably beats him again.
right. And here's my thing. I do understand if Conor wins that, you're like, well, it was at 170. It wasn't at lightweight. So why would he get that shot? But if Khabib beats Tony Ferguson, who's he fighting?
Right, Gaethje.
Gaethje, maybe?
Gaethje's about the only one.
Yeah.
And the reason I think Dana White would hesitate to give it to Gaethje because Gaethje didn't fight Ferguson when they gave him the shot for the interim belt. He said no, he had to heal up.
Yeah.
And that's not how you make it places in the UFC. We've seen it 100 times.
100 times.
You got to be a yes man in that company, truly.
Yeah.
It was 4 weeks off, like 4 weeks notice. Doesn't matter. You got to say yes. You got to take those shots.
Yeah. Well,
especially
because,
in the UFC because Dana White,
and one thing,
he doesn't play that game. He wants the
doesn't-
power.
He doesn't. And one thing I do agree with him on wanting the power. because one, you got to imagine all the egos he deals with on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all
Connor.
fighters. It's got to be ridiculous. Second of all, it saves pay-per-views.
Oh yeah.
You know, when people don't step up, it means a pay-per-view is suffering.
Right.
So I get it from a business standpoint.
That's why Ferguson and Cowboy fought.
Right.
Gaethje should have been that fight, basically. But you know what it's about. It's about that paper, son.
It's about
they
that.
want the money fight. And as much as Masvidal McGregor would be a money fight if he beats Cerrone at 170, I don't think they want to do that too much. Masvidal should probably fight Usman.
Well, I think they
But
will do it.
he wants the money fight too. So
Yeah, and I think they will do it. There is talks now about Usman fighting Masvidal.
Leon Edwards too.
There's
I
so
think,
it's, one of the two of them are going to fight Usman, right?
Yeah.
One of the two of them.
yeah, I think Leon Edwards and Tyrone Woodley are lined up to fight though.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards and Tyrone Woodley. So yeah, so you're probably going to get Masvidal versus Usman.
Yeah, I mean,
who else are they going to put him?
He's
against?
obviously the number one contender now that he beat Colby. They're not going to give him a rematch.
Yeah.
I think Colby's going to be in the WWE before we know it.
Yeah,
I don't think
he's got that kind of personality
for the UFC. I think that's what he's shooting for. I think that's why he did that whole act. I think that's why he put it together because that's what he's gunning for. He's going to go to WWE, get all juiced up.
Yeah, he's
He's
going
going to make a lot of money there.
He's going
to be honest.
He's going to get all those Mexican tacos.
Oh yeah, and he'll make more money there anyway.
I'll tell you a fight I think we need to watch that isn't in the UFC. I think we need to get that Wilder Tyson Fury pay-per-view. I think we need to watch that.
I mean, that's just Tyson Fury. To watch him box is just it's something to marvel at. He's 6'9", so light on his feet,
So light on his feet.
such a fundamental box.
Man, his head movement.
Yeah. God. And to watch him rise from the dead after that first Fury fight.
Who gets up from a Deontay Wilder punch like that? Who gets
that
up from
first
that?
Wilder fight, I should say. And he was flat out on his back, eyes shut. He slept him. And
Who gets
the ref
up
got
from
to
that?
5, and you just see his eyes pop up, and he's like, what the fuck? He sits right up, stands right up, puts his arms on the ref's shoulders. He says, go run it off. He takes a jog. He's like, whatever, I'm fine. And then he wins the round.
Yeah.
Outboxes him the rest of the round.
And it's crazy because Tyson Fury never actually lost. He gave up his belt because he wanted to be depressed and party.
He went off into oblivion. He's the lineal champion, though. He's never been beaten. Nobody
right.
beat the man. He's the man that beat the man.
and
nobody's
beat him.
But, Wilder's got a shot against anybody. That's the power he has is, you can't
remarkable.
teach that.
Especially
it's like
for-
nothing I've ever seen before.
Especially for how small he is compared to the rest of the
What did he
heavyweights.
weigh in? Like he weighed like 219, 209 the first
And
fight.
that,
Something
yeah,
crazy.
and that's like when he's heavy. Like I know
Yeah.
there was one fight where he weighed like 209, and at heavyweight, like you're so small, but you knock them all dead.
Yeah.
I'll tell
He
you,
hit Luis Ortiz on the forehead and put him out. The forehead, that's your strongest part of your head. Just pop down.
how about what is this? 213
He
pounds.
weighs 213 usually.
That's crazy.
I know what I don't
for
want
a
to
boxing
see.
heavyweight.
I know what I don't want to see in the world of boxing is Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua trilogy fight because fuck that fat little boy. He squandered everything he could have had. And he doesn't
definitely-
deserve another fight.
He definitely squandered it, but it was
Yeah.
such a good story before
It
that.
was. He was.
What if
but
he did
until
come
he
back?
fucked it all up.
But what if he fixed it?
Well,
It would be a great story.
I'd rather see Joshua get beat by Wilder or Fury than
Which he's going to be.
see
I
Ruiz fighting
think
anybody.
he's kind of a protected champion.
I agree, and I mean that's the thing about boxing. That's why I love. I mean, the UFC. Look at the fights that are lined up right now. Like we're getting the fights we want.
Yes,
Boxing,
for sure.
Nobody's getting the fights.
Nobody
they
gets the
want.
fights they want.
Fury
The
and Wilder
promoters-
too. We're getting, but
Right.
look at everybody else.
Right, but and we had to sit through a couple of fights to get that. Like if one of them lost, that Tyson Fury Wilder fight would not have been as
Yeah.
important. And they were fighting people that, even though nobody considered them to be on the same caliber, they were still ranked contenders. You
Right.
know what I mean?
That Fury fight, he had a big cut, real
Yeah.
big cut on his eye. That I mean, he could have stopped some fights,
but he
might have
jacked
got-
that dude up though.
Yeah, he fucked him up after in the later round. I mean, he's the great. He the best pure boxer is Fury for sure.
Yeah.
Wilder has all the power. Joshua, I mean, he's just the guy.
I'll tell you
that
what
happened
I-
to have the belts.
I'll tell you what I like about Fury is he's talking about if he wins that Deontay Wilder fight coming into the MMA.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
And in heavyweight, there's not a lot of wrestlers at
no,
heavyweight, man.
Not these days. No.
There's not a lot of wrestlers at heavyweight.
Yeah. Heavyweight is an interesting picture, honestly, because I mean, it's still it's locked up until they get DC his rematch with Stipe. Stipe had like eye surgery. He's having trouble recovering from. I think who knows when they're gonna fight again. Honestly,
I'll tell you what. There's that fight between Ngannou and what's that other guy's name?
Rosenstruik.
That is two we knock people dead fighters. That is
large
be
men,
fucking intense.
Yeah,
man.
somebody that's not going the distance. Somebody's getting knocked out.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that dude was about to lose to Overeem, whatever his name is, Rosenstruik. He was about to lose to Alistar Overeem in like the last 5 seconds. He knocked his lip off his face.
It's the most crazy cut I've ever seen. And shout out to Overeem because he's just smiling through it all. Look at that. It's just bloody.
That's the only one I saw worse than Robbie Lawler's.
Yeah, just split up the cheek, and some people called it early stoppage, but he fucking cracked him and put him on his ass.
It was over.
It was done. He was done. He was winning though. He was beating him.
He was for sure winning.
But when you got that scary power, you can't let him get in. That's the thing that scares me about the Wilder Fury fight, because I think Fury can outbox him for how many rounds, but all it takes is one. Luis Ortiz was beating him. Some would say
in the first match.
Yeah.
The
second match, Wilder was still just waiting to pick a spot, and then he did. Put him down.
It's all Wilder has to do. What's crazy about Wilder is he like barely boxed before he started becoming a champion. He literally was like a delivery driver for Budweiser.
Yeah, he had a daughter and wanted to make some money, so he started boxing. And in a couple years, he won the bronze medal at the Olympics.
He's like, I punch everybody really hard,
as hard as I can,
but knocks people dead.
Just phenomenal, like nothing you've ever seen before. But that Ngannou Rosenstruik fight, that'll be something to behold.
Yeah.
But yeah, heavyweight in the UFC, it's always a weird division.
And I think Fury can really do well there if he can just learn a little bit of takedown defense, because there's not a lot of wrestlers. Especially not a lot of wrestlers that use the wrestling.
Right. Even DC in the most recent Stipe fight, his corner screaming at him to take Stipe down.
If he just would have taken him down.
But nope, he wants to. They all want to stand and bang.
He was winning that fight and then started eating the exact same body shot
hook to the body
over and over and over again until it crippled him.
Yeah, you can't just keep getting hit in the body like that.
How did you not even think to block it? It literally was the exact same punch. I don't know, 10, 15 times in a row?
It seemed like about 15. It probably wasn't, but it seemed like it.
It was like, he's going to hit you in the body. Block it. Oh, you didn't. He's going to hit you in the body. Why aren't you blocking it? He's going to hit you in the... Jesus Christ.
Just take him down.
Yeah.
But nope.
I like DC too.
I do too. He's a phenomenal fighter, one of the greatest in the sport for sure. But, he's got a couple... He's got his kryptonites, and they're named John Jones and Stipe but only in the second fight. He knocked him out in the first one. So just got to fight smart, I think. A little bit smarter. I think he beats Miocic in that second fight, but who knows about fight number 3?
Yeah,
he'll probably poke him in the eye again. I would. That's a DC special. Poke him right in the eye.
Him and John Jones.
They must teach that at AKA.
John Jones is that same shit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just pawing out. I'm keeping him back. You're poking him in the fucking eyeballs. Oh man, John Jones is. I mean, he's the greatest fighter.
He's the greatest. There's no way around it.
I
don't like him, but he's the best.
Yeah. Khabib, they asked him who the best pound for pound was. He said John Jones. He's got everybody on his one loss is bullshit anyway. That DQ.
Yeah, I mean he almost murdered that man with illegal blows. But.
Yeah, but why is that blow illegal? Why? Like, what's the point in a 12-6 elbow being illegal?
Compared to everything,
you can do it standing up. Why can't you do it on the ground? It's a weird rule.
It is a weird rule. It is. I still don't think it should be overturned. It just is what it is.
No, yeah, it should remain the same. I think. But
yeah. All right, man. Well, I think we've been going on for a little while. You got anything else, brother?
I don't know. I could probably talk about anything, but we could wrap it up.
Oh, I'm going to take that as a no, but I'm going to tell you, man, I thought you were awesome on the podcast. I can't wait to have you back in. We definitely got to redo the 4-person one that cannot be aired because it's all jacked up.
Gathering of the Fools Lost Files. Look out for it.
Oh, man. Hopefully we get that up.
We'll see.
But, hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. It was a lot of fun, and this is the Gathering of Fools. We're out.
Bye.